Chapter 379. Emperor Yu's immortal awareness was carefully inspecting every single droplet of liquid. However, Emperor Yu did not know that the Jianglan's realm had already been transformed into a liquid droplet by Qin Yu. Emperor Yu carefully inspected, and his complexion gradually turned pale. The characteristics of the water droplets are truly hard to imitate. As they move, their shape is still changing unceasingly. Qin Yu tried his best to control the changing appearance of the Jianglan's realm. When a water droplet touched another water droplet, it would change its shape. Qin Yu also had to change the appearance of the Jianglan's realm. In short, changing into a liquid was much more troublesome than changing into a solid. Qin Yu was able to clearly sense that Emperor Yu's immortal awareness was carefully inspecting. In order to not be discovered, Qin Yu could only do this. Remove the extremely silent heavenly flames. Emperor Yu suddenly ordered. The 16 immortal emperors immediately obeyed the order. One by one, the extremely silent heavenly flames left that lump of liquid. After losing the burning of the extremely silent heavenly flames, those liquid droplets instantly solidified and turned into a lump of solid. Haha! Qin Yu, what a great Qin Yu! Let me see how you're going to escape. Emperor Yu displayed an excited smile on his face. He directly rushed into the light screen of the ceiling element refining flames array. The 16 immortal emperors immediately allowed Emperor Yu to rush into the light screen without being obstructed. In a short while, Emperor Yu arrived beside that lump of liquid. Qin Yu, stop hiding. I know that you can hear me. Emperor Yu's face was filled with confidence. You've turned the Qingyu immortal mansion into a liquid droplet. Furthermore, you've been changing according to the characteristics of the liquid droplet the entire time. You're indeed extraordinary. I also did not discover it the entire time. Unfortunately, when I suddenly removed the extremely silent heavenly flames, the other liquid droplets naturally solidified. In this large lump of liquid, only a single droplet solidified slower. Although the time it took was very short, it was still clearly seen by my immortal awareness. Inside the Jianglan's realm, Qin Yu felt helpless in his heart. No matter how fast a person's reaction was, it would still not be able to match the reaction of liquid droplets. After removing the extremely silent heavenly flames, those liquid droplets solidified instinctively. By the time Qin Yu reacted, he was already a bit slower. Although it was only a trace, Emperor Yu's immortal awareness was able to clearly discern it. Emperor Yu, you are indeed powerful. That's right, I was discovered by you. However, so what? Do you think that you can catch me? Qin Yu did not care about it in the slightest. The Jianglan's realm was a divine artifact. Qin Yu was extremely confident in its defensive power. It was very difficult to destroy a divine artifact. Divine artifacts, as the name implied, were weapons refined by people from the divine realm. The people from the immortal devil and demon realm wanted to destroy them. Difficult, very difficult. Haha. Qin Yu, could it be that you think that the Qingyu immortal mansion would be able to protect you? Emperor Yu's tone was filled with disdain. Qin Yu was slightly stunned. Qingyu immortal mansion. Soon after, Qin Yu came to a realization. Even now, this Emperor Yu still thought that Qin Yu was hiding in the Qingyu immortal mansion, and that Emperor Yu did not know about the existence of the Jianglan's realm. Immortal Emperor Anai Yang, in the past I did not think that he was very powerful. However, who would have thought that before his death? He actually managed to increase the defense of the Qingyu immortal mansion to a state where even the extremely silent heavenly flames were unable to burn through it. Admirable, truly admirable. Emperor Yu said indifferently. However, Qin Yu, don't be too happy. Even that divine armor of yours, black frozen snow, I am able to destroy it, much less this Qingyu immortal mansion. Qin Yu was shocked. Destroy divine artifact. Back then, Granny Yinhua had said that there were no less than 10 people in the immortal, devil and demon realm that could destroy my divine armor. It would seem that this Emperor Yu is one of them. Qin Yu was slightly worried. The divine armor was a divine artifact. The Jianglan's realm was also a divine artifact. Would Emperor Yu be able to destroy it? Qin Yu did not understand. In order to destroy a divine artifact, the people of the immortal, devil and demon realm could only rely on another divine artifact. At the same time, the person who used the divine artifact must have sufficient strength to unleash the attack power of the divine artifact. When Emperor Yu was on the blue snow star, in order to hide his identity, he only used the Thunder God's hammer. The Thunder God's hammer's power could not be considered to be very strong. Naturally, it was unable to destroy Qin Yu's divine armor. However, Emperor Yu's true weapon, Great Emperor's sword, was of the same level as the divine sword Sky Piercer. Great Emperor's sword, a mid-quality divine artifact. With Emperor Yu's strength that greatly surpassed Qin Yu, if he were to use the Great Emperor's sword, he would definitely be able to destroy the divine armor that Qin Yu was controlling. After all, when Qin Yu was wearing it, the divine armor's defense would not be able to be unleashed. Can Emperor Yu break through the Jianglan's realm? Back then, Uncle Lan also did not tell me what level of divine artifact this Jianglan's realm was. Qin Yu was puzzled. However, Qin Yu had forgotten. With Qin Yu's current strength, he had only managed to open the first layer of the Jianglan's realm. How could the Jianglan's realm be an ordinary divine artifact? Break! A loud shout was heard. Emperor Yu held the Great Emperor's sword in his hand and pierced through the air. That solid object that could be forged into a top-quality immortal sword was directly shattered. The tip of the Great Emperor's sword just happened to pierce through the Jianglan's realm. The solid object was green in color. When the Great Emperor's sword pierced through it, the Jianglan's realm actually did not tremble in the slightest. Shock appeared on Emperor Yu's face that was filled with confidence. How is this possible? Emperor Yu was extremely shocked. His attack earlier had at least used 80% of his attack power. Even the divine armor, black frozen snow, would likely be in danger. However, why did this Qin Yu immortal mansion not have any reaction? Qin Yu, who was inside the Jianglan's realm, heaved a long sigh of relief. Impossible. Qin Yu, what exactly did Immortal Emperor Ni Yang do to the Qin Yu immortal mansion? How could it possibly reach my great emperor's sword? Emperor Yu was unable to understand. Instead, he reproached Qin Yu. Qin Yu, who was inside the Jianglan's realm, calmed down. With a thought, Qin Yu casually made up a lie. Right now, he still did not want others to know about the existence of the Jianglan's realm. Emperor Yu, Immortal Emperor Ni Yang, had no choice but to face death because of you too. However, before his death, Senior Immortal Emperor Ni Yang instead gained comprehension and created an extremely powerful defensive barrier. You want to break through it? Dream on. A defensive barrier that he comprehended before his death. Emperor Yu was astonished. This Ni Yang is truly powerful. He actually managed to comprehend such an exceptional defensive barrier. No matter who Emperor Yu asked, this lie would not be exposed. After all, even the white-haired blood devil, Shui Yiling, from back then, although he had attacked Qin Yu's Qin Yu immortal mansion, he was unable to break through it. Thus, he naturally did not know about the true defensive power of the Qin Yu immortal mansion. Ni Yang, a defensive barrier that was comprehended by someone who was about to die. How powerful could it be? At this point, how could Emperor Yu give up? He raised the Great Emperor's sword high up. Rays of golden light were emitted from the Great Emperor's sword. At the same time, Emperor Yu's left hand began to form hand seals. Marvelous golden talisman seals shot from Emperor Yu's hand toward the Great Emperor's sword. The golden light of the Great Emperor's sword became even more dazzling. However, Emperor Yu did not attack the entire time. Instead, he continued to accumulate his attack power. Come at me if you have the ability. Qin Yu was filled with confidence. That sword strike from earlier did not affect the Jianglan's realm in the slightest. Even if its power were to increase by 10 times, it would still be impossible for it to break through the Jianglan's realm. Uncle Lan's Jianglan's realm's defense is truly powerful. I truly do not know what level of divine artifact the Jianglan's realm is. After receiving an attack, Qin Yu already had an idea of the defense of the Jianglan's realm. Emperor Yu wanted to break through it. He was still far from it. Emperor Yu's complexion started to turn red. The golden light of the great emperor's sword in his hand had already become incomparably dazzling. At the same time, the great emperor's sword started to tremble unceasingly. It was as if it was about to fly out from Emperor Yu's hand. Emperor Yu knew that this was already the strongest attack power of the great emperor's sword that he was capable of. All of the energy was bound together. At the same time, the talisman seals formed an orderly whole, causing the attack to become even fiercer. If the energy within the great emperor's sword were to be spread out, then it would be enough to destroy an entire planet. However, all of these energies were gathered together. "Break for me!" Following a roar, the great emperor's sword turned into an extremely fine golden light and violently shot onto the green speck. Bang! The Jianglan's realm was still completely undamaged. Qin Yu, who was in the Jianglan's realm, had a cold expression on his face. "Could it be that this is your strongest attack power?" Unfortunately, the Jianglan's realm did not even have the slightest effect on it. "You want to break through the Jianglan's realm? You're still far from it." Emperor Yu's expression changed. He felt a sweetness in his throat. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Emperor Yu was injured. What a powerful defense. Even that divine armor did not have such a powerful defense. Emperor Yu's complexion turned ashen. Although he had trapped Qin Yu, the current him was unable to do anything to Qin Yu. Times inside the Jianglan's realm, Qin Yu no longer cared about Emperor Yu, who was outside. He knew that Emperor Yu was unable to do anything to the Jianglan's realm. Qin Yu waved his sleeve and the Qingyu Immortal Mansion appeared on top of the green field in the Jianglan's realm. At the same time, Qin Yu took out 4 people from the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Kong Lan, Tu Gang, Tan Meng and Wan. "We pay our respects to Master." The 4 of them bowed at the same time. Qin Yu nodded and said, "Kong Lan, I have a matter that I need your help with." "Master, please speak." Kong Lan was the leader of the second layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Naturally, he was the leader of the 4. Qin Yu pointed to the sleeping little Niu Hua and said, "In order to capture me, that Emperor Yu had already burned down the entire reef Yellow Star. This little Niu Hua is the sole survivor. I have a cultivation method here. For the time being, the 4 of you can help me teach him." The current Qin Yu simply did not have the time to teach little Niu Hua. The education of a child was very important. Qin Yu did not wish for little Niu Hua to still have the temperament of a child when he grew up. Normally, Waner would be in charge of little Niu Hua's daily life. Tu Gang and Tan Meng would be in charge of teaching him how to cultivate, attack and so on. You all would also need to teach him about the communication between people and so on. Kong Lan, you'll be in charge of the specific plans. Qin Yu said directly. "Yes, Master." The 4 of them all obeyed. You all would normally live in the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. If there's anything, you can just send me a mental transmission. With an intention from Qin Yu, the space within the entire Jianglan's realm changed. The green field that Qin Yu was currently in had already been completely isolated from the surroundings. Without Qin Yu's permission, it would be impossible for Kong Lan and them to see Qin Yu. This green field was the place where Qin Yu was going to train. 10,000 Beasts Atlas. In order to open the 3rd layer, one must possess the strength of a level 1 immortal emperor. Qin Yu held the scroll in his hand. He felt very helpless in his heart. He had already attempted to open the 3rd layer. However, there was still a gap. The middle stage black hole realm strength was only close to level 9 golden immortal. There was still a large gap between him and a level 1 immortal emperor. On top of the green field, Qin Yu sat down cross-legged. This time I must at least reach the late-stage black hole realm and open the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas in one go. I wonder what kind of demon emperors are in the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas and how strong their attacks are. Suddenly, Qin Yu's gaze turned cold. Never would I expect that this Emperor Yu still hasn't given up. That was because Qin Yu sensed that outside there were actually numerous immortal emperors frantically attacking his Jianglan's realm. A green speck. There were over a dozen immortal emperors gathered in the surroundings. These immortal emperors were all elites under Emperor Yu. Some of them had rushed over from the other two planets. After all, Qin Yu had arrived at the Reef Yellow Star, and the arrangements of the other two planets were already useless. Emperor Yu's expression was a bit ugly. As long as someone is able to break open this green speck, I will bestow upon them a divine artifact. Emperor Yu's order was still in their ears. Although divine artifacts were precious, but these immortal emperors who possessed consummate skills looked at each other helplessly. Earlier, the over 10 immortal emperors were all experimenting and frantically attacking this green speck. Even these over 10 immortal emperors, including Emperor Yu, were all attacking this green speck together. However, they were still unable to do anything to this green speck. Your Majesty, how could the Qingyu Immortal Mansion have such a defense? Immortal Emperor Mu Yan's face was filled with disbelief. Emperor Yu's complexion had been ashen the entire time. He said coldly, "This is only what that Qingyu said. It is still uncertain whether or not this is the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. However, if this green speck is not the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, then what is it?" In the entire immortal devil and demon realm, no one had ever heard of a divine artifact that contained a space. Jianglan's realm was not the same as a storage divine artifact. Although storage divine artifacts were precious, they could only store objects. No matter what, it was impossible for people to enter them, unless they were dead. Without the concept of a storage divine artifact, how could one imagine that it was a storage divine artifact? If it's not the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, then what is it? All of the immortal emperors felt helpless. Emperor Yu, even if Immortal Emperor Yang was dead, he was still stronger than you. The Qingyu Immortal Mansion that he created, you can forget about breaking it. Qin Yu's voice sounded from the green speck. This caused all of the immortal emperors to look toward the green speck. Emperor Yu tried his best to suppress his anger. He said, "Qin Yu, do not continue to stubbornly resist. I will give you one last chance. As long as you come out from the Qingyu Immortal Mansion now and hand over the 10,000 Beasts Atlas and the Bewitching God painting, I will spare your life. The divine armor and divine sword Skypiercer will still be yours. I, Emperor Yu, am a man of my word." Hearing these words, Qin Yu didn't know what to say. "Emperor Yu, you're still sparing my life." I am in the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. If you have the ability, then come in and capture me. You can't break the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, yet you're still speaking in such a dignified manner. It's as if you're very broad-minded. Don't you forget how the hundreds of millions of cultivators on the Reef Yellow Star died?" As Qin Yu said those words, his voice was filled with anger. Emperor Yu laughed in extreme anger. "Reef Yellow Star. Hundreds of millions of cultivators. That's right, hundreds of millions of cultivators. I've killed them, what can you do about it? Could it be that you want to take revenge? With your little bit of courage that only knows how to hide and escape, you want to take revenge?" Even though Emperor Yu was angry, he still wanted to provoke Qin Yu to come out. "Emperor Yu, remember, it's not that I don't want to take revenge, it's that the time has not yet come." Qin Yu's voice was cold. After Qin Yu said those words, no matter what Emperor Yu said outside, Qin Yu no longer responded. Inside the Jianglan's realm, Qin Yu had already sat down cross-legged and started to quietly train. Chapter 380. No matter what happened in the outside world, Qin Yu would still not care about it. The current Qin Yu was wholeheartedly training. Within the third layer space of Qin Yu's earthly soul, Qin Yu's consciousness turned into a human form. He was unceasingly forming hand seals. The 3 souls 9 refinements had a total of 108 hand seals. Corresponding to the human soul, earthly soul and heavenly soul, there were 36 hand seals. Currently, Qin Yu was training the 36 hand seals of the earthly soul. With Qin Yu's soul power, he was only able to form 24 hand seals at once. When Qin Yu was able to form 36 hand seals at once, it would mean that Qin Yu had completely mastered the earthly soul. Time passed. The number of hand seals that Qin Yu formed in a single breath increased from 24 to 25. Soon after, it reached 26. Inside the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, a robust youngster turned into a phantom and frantically attacked Kong Lan. Kong Lan merely used a single hand and casually blocked all of the robust youngster's attacks. "Great Master, let's rest for a bit." The robust youngster knelt on one knee. "Big brother, let him rest for a bit. He's only at the Kongming stage." A beautiful white-clothed woman walked out. It was Tan Meng. At this moment, Tan Meng was holding a plate in her hand. On the plate was a fruit. The Qingyu Immortal Mansion originally had a lot of fruit trees. Now, Tan Meng had transplanted them to the surrounding land. "Second Master." Seeing Tan Meng, the robust youngster's eyes shined. He quickly ran over, picked up a fruit and took a large bite. "Second Master, when will Lord Qin Yu come out?" the robust youngster suddenly asked. "Niuhua, don't worry. Lord is still training," said Tan Meng with a smile. This robust youngster was precisely Niuhua. That was because the elemental spirit energy in the Jianglan's realm was 10 times that of the outside world. Furthermore, Niuhua was a child of the immortal, devil and demon realm. His aptitude was much better than the children of the mortal realm. In merely a dozen years, he had reached the Kongming stage. With Tan Meng, 1 or 2 gang and Kong Lan accompanying and educating him, although Niuhua still remembered the tragedy of his childhood, he was extremely optimistic. He only remembered his greatest enemy, Emperor Yu. Boom! A bolt of cyan lightning struck down from the sky. A sturdy man wielding a saber slashed down fiercely, cleaving away more than half of the cyan lightning. The rest of the lightning struck his body, but the man's face only turned slightly red. 9 from 9 heavenly tribulation isn't enough. The sturdy man chuckled. That bolt of lightning was the last bolt of lightning of the 9 from 9 to heaven tribulation. Niuhua, don't be complacent. Your 9 from 9 to heaven tribulation isn't that powerful. For example, the 9 from 9 to heaven tribulation of a divine beast is much more powerful than yours. Your 9 from 9 to heaven tribulation is just an ordinary cultivator's 9 from 9 to heaven tribulation. Kong Lan walked over. This year, Qin Yu had been in seclusion for 30 years. 50 years, 80 years, 100 years. Times the sealing elemental refining flames array was maintained and the 16 immortal emperors were sitting cross-legged in space. Fortunately, maintaining the array didn't require much energy, but the 16 immortal emperors were still exhausted, because 10 years had passed. Inside the sealing elemental refining flames array, the group of immortal emperors under Emperor Yu were beside the green speck. All these years, they had been unable to do anything to the green speck. As for Emperor Yu himself, he wasn't present. No one knew where he went. Suddenly, 2 people appeared from the cosmic space. One was Emperor Yu, who wore a purple gown. As for the other, it was a beautiful woman who wore a white gown. This woman had a golden light in between her eyebrows. She was emitting a kind of oppressive feeling. "It's over there." Emperor Yu pulled the white-clothed woman's hand and flew toward the sealing elemental refining flames array. "Feng Yu, you're truly ruthless. You burned the entire reef yellow star. Do you know? If this matter were to spread all these years that you've been here, the entire immortal devil and demon realm would know that it was you who did this," said the white-clothed woman helplessly. Emperor Yu smiled indifferently and said, Since when did you care about those opinions? Aren't we living for the sake of power and ascending to the divine realm?" The white-clothed woman smiled indifferently. "It's nothing to be ruthless. However, the influence of your actions is too great. Back then, because of the death of his son, Lin Yin went crazy and destroyed an entire planet. However, you destroyed an entire planet for the sake of capturing people. As the two of them were talking, they had already passed through the sealing elemental refining flames array. When the 16 immortal emperors who set up the array saw the arrival of Emperor Yu and the white-clothed woman, how could they possibly dare to obstruct them? They had already let them pass. As for the group of immortal emperors in the sealing elemental refining flames array, when they saw Emperor Yu and the white-clothed woman walking over hand in hand, they couldn't help but have expressions of surprise. The mystic emperor actually came together with His Majesty. Ji Bai said to Immortal Emperor Mu Yan, who was beside him via voice transmission. Immortal Emperor Mu Yan also nodded and said via voice transmission, "His Majesty is indeed powerful." Back then, he had caused such a huge ruckus with the mystic emperor. And now, he actually managed to coax the mystic emperor to come over. However, they are husband and wife. No matter how much they cause trouble, they will not become enemies. For the sake of the bewitching god painting, His Majesty actually admitted defeat to the mystic emperor. This is also rare. Ji Bai sighed. That white-clothed woman was precisely one of the three big shots of the immortal realm, the mystic emperor. The mystic emperor and Emperor Yu were originally husband and wife. Merely, the two of them were extremely possessive people. Furthermore, both of them were extremely headstrong. When the two of them had a conflict, neither of them admitted defeat. Thus, they naturally separated. This time, in order to obtain the bewitching god painting, Emperor Yu had also admitted defeat. As for the mystic emperor, she had gained face. At the same time, she was also very interested in the bewitching god painting. Thus she naturally also came. In terms of strength, Emperor Yu was on par with the mystic emperor. Furthermore, the two of them were Tao companions. When the two of them joined hands, their strength would multiply. Fengyu, is this green speck the Qingyu immortal mansion that you spoke of? The mystic emperor glanced at the green speck with her phoenix eyes, pointed at it and said. Emperor Yu nodded and said, "That's right. I have tried all sorts of methods but was unable to break it open. Thus I could only find you. You would only come find me at times like this. Normally, you would not even look at me once." Mystic Emperor coldly humped and said. Emperor Yu immediately felt bitter in his heart. He truly wanted to slap his own mouth. The immortal emperors at the side were all secretly laughing in their hearts. However, they did not dare to reveal a trace of a smile on their faces. "All of you withdraw first." Emperor Yu shouted to the surrounding immortal emperors. "Yes, Your Majesty." These immortal emperors all flew away. As for Emperor Yu, he squeezed out a trace of a smile and looked to the mystic emperor. It's my fault, okay? Let's break open this Qingyu immortal mansion first." Xianxi smiled, nodded and said, "All right then. Don't forget what you promised me." Emperor Yu felt bitter in his heart. In order to invite Xianxi over, he promised her one thing. This time, among the divine artifacts on Qin Yu, the 10,000 Beasts Atlas would belong to Emperor Yu. The divine armor and divine sword Sky Piercer would belong to the mystic emperor. As for the bewitching god painting, the two of them would share it. At the same time, Emperor Yu must also serve the mystic emperor for 1,000 years. 1,000 years, Emperor Yu had to personally serve her. "Then let's begin," Emperor Yu urged. Xianxi nodded. The great emperor's sword appeared in Emperor Yu's hand. As for Xianxi, a jade green-colored long sword appeared in her hand. The surface of this long sword appeared to be constantly flowing with water. It was very special. This jade green-colored long sword was the mystic emperor's weapon, the divine sword, flowing great sword. Great emperor's sword, flowing great sword. It was also the divine sword that the two of them obtained together. Xianxi and Emperor Yu took a glance at each other and closed their eyes at the same time. The great emperor's sword and flowing great sword soared into the sky at the same time. The hand seals that Xianxi and Emperor Yu made were exactly the same. They were even softly uttering special syllables. The great emperor's sword and flowing great sword were flickering with radiance. One was golden, the other was jade green. Suddenly, the bodies of Xian Shi and Emperor Yu, who were standing motionlessly, started to rotate. As if space was shifting, the two of them were constantly changing positions. At the same time, the great emperor's sword and flowing great sword instantly combined. A sharp sword aura soared into the sky. The combination of the great emperor's sword and flowing great sword became the high-quality divine sword, matchless great sword. Is this the legendary matchless great sword? Outside the ceiling element refining flames array, the green-blooded sword immortal, Ji Bai, had a face filled with astonishment. As the sword aura swallowed and spat out, the space started to distort. Ji Bai, immortal Emperor Mu Yan, and the others were simply unable to see Xian Shi and Emperor Yu's figures clearly. Break. Almost at the same time, shouts sounded. It was the shouts of Emperor Yu and Xian Shi. Facial crack. Immortal Emperor Mu Yan said in shock. A tiny black crack appeared. That misty matchless great sword that couldn't be seen clearly directly pierced into the green speck. The entire space started to tremble. Blank. The matchless great sword instantly split into two long swords, the great emperor's sword and the flowing great sword. Emperor Yu and Emperor Xian, who had pale complexions, both caught their own divine swords. How is this possible? Emperor Yu looked at the green speck that still didn't change in the slightest. His complexion was very ugly. If the two of us join hands, we definitely have the strength of a level 9 immortal emperor. Adding on the might of the high-quality divine sword, matchless great sword, what can't we break? Xian Shi looked at the green speck and started to frown. Feng Yu, did you notice that when this green speck received an attack, it actually didn't even move in the slightest? Xian Shi saw through Feng Yu's confusion. Emperor Yu also noticed this. Even if its defense was powerful, but when it received such a powerful attack, it should at least be knocked flying. However, the green speck didn't even move in the slightest. Unfortunately. How could Emperor Yu and Xian Shi possibly understand how powerful the Jianglan's realm was? Their attack. Even if it were 10 times more powerful, the Jianglan's realm would still be able to easily deflect the attack. Inside the Jianglan's realm, Qin Yu was still quietly training. Currently, Qin Yu had already trained for close to 200 years. Even little cowgirl had reached level 4 heavenly immortal. However, Qin Yu was still training. Inside the third layer of the soul earthly soul, Qin Yu was already able to form 35 hand seals at once. Every time he tried to form 36 hand seals at once, he would always fail. However, Qin Yu still persevered and continued to train. In a single breath, Qin Yu formed 36 hand seals in a very coherent manner. Qin Yu's soul earthly space started to tremble. Qin Yu's awareness directly ascended from the soul earthly space into the first layer of the heavenly soul. Qin Yu's eyes suddenly opened. Success! Qin Yu stood up from the green field. After calculating in his heart, Qin Yu already knew the amount of time he had spent training. 200 years. Sure enough, the further one cultivates, the harder it is. Qin Yu's immortal awareness spread out from the Jianglan's realm. Sure enough, Emperor Yu and them are still outside. Qin Yu sneered in his heart. He then stopped caring about those people. Your Majesty, it's Qin Yu's immortal awareness. That group of immortal emperors all sensed Qin Yu's immortal awareness. Immediately, the group of people including Emperor Yu became restless. However, after that, Qin Yu no longer spread out his immortal awareness. As for the mystic Emperor Xian Shi, she had already left after her failure last time. The mystic emperor did not have the time to waste here. Elemental spirit energy once again started to tremble within the Jianglan's realm. A large amount of elemental spirit energy frantically poured into Qin Yu's body. It was as if there was an invisible whirlpool surrounding Qin Yu's body. Since his soul's level had already reached that level, Qin Yu naturally started to absorb a large amount of elemental spirit energy and started to train. The elemental spirit energy that covered the entire sky poured into the black hole and was unceasingly being purified. A total of 18 hours. After absorbing for 18 hours, Qin Yu's black hole finally started to tremble. Qin Yu also sensed that, on the other side of the black hole, the 2 to 3 meters long space that belonged to Qin Yu in the flower paste space had started to tremble. After a short moment, a golden ring that was even larger than the previous two flew out from the other side of the black hole. It flew past 1/3 of the black hole, 2/3 of the black hole, all the way until it reached the end of the black hole. The golden ring then fused into the black hole. Like a hoop, it bound the black hole. Between the 3 golden rings, the golden black hole energy began to be transmitted unceasingly. During the transmission process, the energy was unceasingly purified. Even the black hole itself was absorbing the golden energy. The stability of the black hole was also increasing. After a long time, the 3 golden rings had all stabilized. However, the golden rings were still very dazzling. On the surface of the golden rings, there were still streams of energy swallowing and spitting. The current black hole energy had definitely increased by over 10 times. Qin Yu opened his eyes. He had a smile on his face. "I've finally reached the late-stage black hole realm." Sensing the solidified black hole energy within his body and his body that had become even more valiant after 200 years of transformation, Qin Yu knew that his current strength was already close to that of a level 2 or 3 immortal emperor. With a flip of his hand, he took out the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. The thick and dense black hole energy surged into the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. The checkpoint that he couldn't break through in the past was now brazenly broken through. After a short moment, the 10,000 Beasts Atlas scroll flickered with light, indicating that Qin Yu had successfully opened the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. When Qin Yu opened the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, the demon emperors in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas were all startled awake. "Greetings, Master." The 4 great demon emperors immediately said respectfully. Qin Yu's immortal awareness didn't pay attention to the 4 great demon emperors. His immortal awareness was completely focused on the other 3 demon emperors. Chapter 381. The space in the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas was nearly limitless. As the master of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, Qin Yu naturally instantly understood the entire 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. There were a total of 7 demon emperors in the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. "It's actually these 3. Qin Yu was incomparably shocked. When he opened the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, the 4 demon emperors that respectfully addressed him as master were not very powerful. The weakest was only a level 1 demon emperor and the strongest was only a level 5 demon emperor. These 4 demon emperors were not of much help to Qin Yu. What truly attracted Qin Yu were the other 3 demon emperors. These 3 demon emperors were very powerful. So powerful that it caused Qin Yu's heart to tremble. 2 level 7 demon emperors and 1 level 8 demon emperor. Long time no see. A mind voice transmission sounded in Qin Yu's mind. Qin Yu's attention was focused on the person who greeted him. It was a dark and thin man. He looked like a youngster. However, his skin was emitting an indescribable radiance. His gaze was also much more profound. "Mr. Wu Lan." Qin Yu was pleasantly surprised. Back then in the Niyang realm, the Wu Lan who determined who would enter the 9th floor of the 9 heavens was actually a demon emperor from the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Qin Yu also had a favorable impression of this old acquaintance. Qin Yu had an intention. The 7 demon emperors of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas had all appeared in the Jianglan's realm. Although these 7 demon emperors were very powerful and some of them were even more powerful than Qin Yu was the master of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. 7 people. Subordinate Ming Zhang pays his respects to master. A robust large man said respectfully. This large man was the weakest among the 7. He was only a level 1 demon emperor. Subordinate Dong Shui pays his respects to master. A beautiful white-clothed woman said respectfully. This woman was the only female among the 7. She was a level 4 demon emperor. Subordinate Ding Ju pays his respects to master. This was a level 3 demon emperor middle-aged man. Subordinate Yun Ming pays his respects to master. This was the strongest among the 4, a level 5 demon emperor. These 4 demon thearchs were all divine beasts. Among them, only Yun Ming was a high-class divine beast. The other 3 were mid-class divine beasts and low-class divine beasts. As for the other 3 demon thearchs, Qin Yu couldn't see through them. "The 4 of you can rest at the side," Qin Yu said coolly. "Yes, master." The 4 of them were very respectful. Clearly, the 4 demonic emperors seemed to understand their position and moved to the side obediently. However, these 4 demonic emperors had never approached the other 3 demonic emperors. As for the other 3 great demon emperors, one of them was the dark and skinny Wu Lan. Beside him was an extremely tall and sturdy big man. There was also a tall and skinny cold and arrogant man beside him. He didn't even look at Qin Yu. "Haha, I didn't expect this. How many years has it been?" The kid who was wearing the blazing profound ring and was only at the Deshang stage has actually reached the Emperor stage. An extremely tall and sturdy man said with a laugh. This burly man's tiger-like eyes were like lightning bursting forth, full of domineering aura. "You're that guardian." Qin Yu immediately recalled the past. Back then in Ni Yang's realm, there were so many people who wanted to pass through the Blue Clouds Road. The guardian was the burly man in front of him. "That's right, that's me," the tall and sturdy man said proudly. "Let me introduce myself. Called Yichu. My original form should also be considered a demonic beast." Qin Yu was slightly stunned. What did he mean by "should also be considered"? Wu Lan, who was at the side, smiled and said, "Qin Yu Yichu is a thick-headed fellow. Let me explain it in detail. Yichu's original form is a legendary divine beast, Tyrannosaurus Rex." Tyrannosaurus Rex. Qin Yu searched through all the information in his mind. However, he couldn't think of any divine beast called Tyrannosaurus Rex. "Mr. Wu Lan, I don't remember any dragon called Tyrannosaurus Rex. Could it be? Tyrannosaurus Rex is a mutated divine beast." Qin Yu said confusedly. Qin Yu couldn't think of any other answer. Wu Lan shook his head and smiled. Yichu opened his tiger eyes wide and said, "Boy Qin Yu, my Tyrannosaurus Rex clan is incomparably powerful. The number of people in our clan has never been less than 10,000. How could it be a mutated divine beast?" 10,000. Qin Yu was surprised. If there was such a large number of them, then this kind of divine beast would definitely be a relatively famous divine beast. How could he not have heard of it? "Yichu, how come I've never heard of it?" "That's because you're too inexperienced," said Yichu complacently. "Yichu, stop teasing Qin Yu," said Wu Lan with an indifferent smile. Hearing Wu Lan's words, Yichu muttered a few times and stopped talking. Wu Lan looked to Qin Yu and explained. "Qin Yu, it's impossible for you to know about the Tyrannosaurus Rex clan. That's because the Tyrannosaurus Rex clan is not a creature from the immortal, devil and demon realm. Not from the immortal, devil and demon realm." Qin Yu was surprised. "That's right." Wu Lan nodded and said, "Before talking about this, I must let you understand one thing. In this boundless universe, there are actually a lot of spaces. Some spaces are of a higher level, some spaces are of a lower level, and some spaces are of the same level. They are considered to be parallel spaces. Do you understand this?" Qin Yu naturally understood. His master Lei Wei's hometown, a technological cosmic space. It was a space of the same level as his own hometown, the Hidden Dragon continent. They were of equal status. The cultivators of these two spaces, after reaching a certain level of cultivation, would ascend to a higher level space. Wu Lan smiled. Spaces are ranked according to their internal energy and stability. For example, the mortal realm. Not only is there the space of your hometown, There are also other cosmic spaces that belong to the mortal realm. There are also many spaces of the same level as the immortal, devil and demon realm. The space of the Tyrannosaurus Rex clan is one of them. Qin Yu completely understood. Yi Chu's hometown was a space of the same level as the immortal, devil and demon realm. A creature from another cosmic space. Qin Yu found it hard to imagine that a creature from another space of the same level would actually appear in the immortal, devil and demon realm. He had never heard of such a creature in the immortal, devil and demon realm. Hearing this, Yi Chu became a bit sad. Evidently, Yi Chu also felt a bit uncomfortable after leaving his clan and his hometown. Boy Qin Yu, although the space of my hometown is of the same level as your space, our overall strength should be much stronger than yours, said Yi Chu confidently. Your divine beasts are also divided into low-level divine beasts, mid-level divine beasts, high-level divine beasts and super-divine beasts. As for ours, there aren't that many differences. Wu Lan explained. Their space is mainly divided into two great clans. One is the dinosaur clan and the other is the human clan. The dinosaur clan is divided into Tyrannosaurus Rex, flying dragons, and various other types. As for the human clan, they are more or less the same as the immortal, devil and demon realm. Qin Yu completely understood. That space seemed to be much simpler than his own. Our dinosaur clan trains our bodies. When the dinosaur's body is trained to the peak, humph humph, we can directly withstand the divine tribulation and ascend to the divine realm. Yi Chu seemed to be very proud of his clan's training method. Wu Lan nodded and said, the dinosaur clan's training method is indeed extraordinary. Idiot that only knows how to fight in close quarters. An ice-cold voice sounded from nearby. Qin Yu couldn't help but turn around to look. The person who spoke earlier was precisely that tall, thin and grim man. That grim man still didn't even glance at Qin Yu. Close combat is the strongest method of attack. How could magic energy attacks be able to determine life and death in a single move like close combat? Yi Chu stared at that grim man and retorted. That grim man merely snorted coldly and said no more. However, that grim man still didn't look over. Wu Lan smiled and said, Wushu, you don't have to deny the dinosaur clan's attack method. To be honest, the Tyrannosaurus Rex's aptitude is only comparable to that of a high-level divine beast. However, their dinosaur clan's training method is extremely suitable for them. Although Yi Chu is only a level 7 demon emperor, when he fights, he's not much inferior to Emperor Yu outside. Qin Yu's eyes shined. The level 7 demon emperor Yi Chu's strength was actually close to Emperor Yu. It would appear that the Tyrannosaurus Rex's dinosaur body was extremely valiant. Mr. Wu Lan, what did you call him earlier? Qin Yu was suddenly woken up. He clearly heard Wu Lan call that grim man Wushu. Was it Ao Wuming's big brother Ao Wushu? Qin Yu, allow me to introduce this person. This is Ao Wushu. His true form is the unprecedented variation super divine beast of the dragon clan, the blood dragon. Not long ago, his strength had reached level 8 demon emperor. Wu Lan had admiration in his eyes. Qin Yu was incomparably shocked. Level 8 demon emperor super divine beast. Qin Yu remembered that the level 7 demon emperor Ao Wuming in his battle form was definitely able to easily defeat Ji Bai and Shui Yiling. In his battle form, Ao Wuming was comparable to Emperor Yu. As for a level 8 demon emperor super divine beast, it was truly too frightening. It definitely surpassed Emperor Yu by more than 1 or 2 times. Mr. Wu Lan, I have a question. Qin Yu discovered a problem. Yi Chu and Wu Lan were both level 7 demon emperors. Ao Wushu was even a level 8 demon emperor. How could they be captured by immortal Emperor Enai Yang and brought into the 10,000 Beasts Atlas? Wu Lan smiled indifferently. I know. You want to ask us how to become a spirit beast in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, right? That's right. Qin Yu looked to Wu Lan. Among the 3, Qin Yu had the best impression of this Wu Lan. Wu Lan smiled and said, Then I'll explain it to you in detail. Wushu left the dragon clan when he was young. He even ignored the Dragon Emperor's orders. Do you know about this? Qin Yu had also heard about the grudges between Ao Wushu and the Dragon clan. He reckoned that the source of this grudge was due to Ao Wushu being mistaken as a red dragon when he was a child. Qin Yu nodded his head to indicate that he knew. Wushu was born for battle. Wu Lan sighed. When he was young, Wushu left the Dragon clan and began to wander the immortal, devil and demon realm. He challenged countless experts and became stronger and stronger. However, he never returned to the Dragon clan. Back then, when Wushu reached level 7 Demon Emperor, he met an Aiyang who was at his peak. At that time, an Aiyang was a level 8 Immortal Emperor Sword Immortal. Wu Lan had a smile on his face. Wushu challenged an Aiyang and the two of them made a bet. At this time, the grim Ao Wushu also walked over. Ao Wushu spoke out. I made a bet with an Aiyang. If I lose, I will become his spiritual beast. If I win, his divine armor will belong to me. And the result was that I lost. A level 7 super divine beast against a level 8 immortal emperor sword immortal. There was not much difference in strength. Both of them could win. Wushu's temperament is very stubborn, said Wu Lan with a smile. Later on, when the Dragon Emperor found out about this matter, he directly stepped forward to have an Aiyang remove his son's soul binding. Qin Yu, the Dragon Emperor's strength is very strong, extremely strong. At that time, Immortal Emperor and Aiyang submitted. Wu Lan smiled. Do you know what Wushu's reaction was at that time? Qin Yu was naturally able to guess. If Ao Wushu was willing to leave at that time, then he wouldn't be in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas right now. I have no relationship with the Dragon clan. Why should I accept his kindness? Furthermore, I don't have any expectations for the immortal, devil and demon realm anymore. There are too few people worthy of my challenge, said Ao Wushu indifferently. Qin Yu could clearly feel the great estrangement between Ao Wushu and the Dragon Emperor. The most important thing is, I am willing to accept my loss. Since I lost, I naturally will not go back on my words, said Ao Wushu. Qin Yu had a judgment of Ao Wushu in his heart. This person was very eccentric and had a very stubborn temperament. He was definitely the type of person who was amenable to coaxing but not coercion. Mr. Wu Lan, I'm very curious. Back then, an Aiyang had the protection of you all. Why was he still forced to such a state by Emperor Yu and Mystic Emperor? And even died? Qin Yu was puzzled. With these three people, plus Immortal Emperor and Aiyang, why would they fear Emperor Yu and Mystic Emperor? Hearing this question, Wu Lan smiled. Chu also smiled. Even Ao Wushu had a rare expression of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Qin Yu boy. Ao Wushu stared at Qin Yu. I am a person who does not like to be threatened by others. Only when I owe someone a favor I will help someone. Otherwise, even if you kill me I will not help you. Qin Yu was startled. Wu Lan explained from the side. Qin Yu, Ao Wushu has a very stubborn temperament. Back then, he had made an oath with Immortal Emperor and Aiyang. Unless it was a matter of life and death, Ao Wushu would come out and protect Immortal Emperor and Aiyang's life. Normally, an Aiyang only had one chance to order Ao Wushu. In exchange, when he arrived at the Divine Realm, an Aiyang had to release Ao Wushu's soul binding and return Ao Wushu's freedom. Hearing the oath between Ao Wushu and Immortal Emperor and Aiyang, Qin Yu couldn't help but be startled. Wu Lan smiled. Back then, an Aiyang could only agree. If he agreed, he would have one more chance to order Ao Wushu and have Ao Wushu do something for him. At the same time, he could have Ao Wushu help him when he was in danger. If he didn't agree, he could only let Ao Wushu die. There was no benefit for him at all. Qin Yu completely understood. Ao Wushu would rather die than submit. Big brother Wu Lan, don't talk about Wushu. Wushu at least agreed to listen to an Aiyang's order once. What about you? You didn't even listen to a single order and only agreed to protect his life when he was in danger, said Yi Chu with a smile. Ao Wushu also looked toward Wu Lan. Everyone present understood the meaning behind his gaze. Chapter 382. Qin Yu completely understood. Pitiful Ni Yang. Qin Yu sighed in his heart. Clearly, these three great experts were not obedient to Ni Yang. Experts have their own pride. These people would rather die than submit. Oh, Wushu sounded a bit better. He agreed to two of Ni Yang's requests, to protect Ni Yang in times of life and death, and to obey Ni Yang's orders once. Wu Lan, on the other hand, was very strong. He actually refused to obey a single order and only agreed to protect him in times of danger. Boy Qin Yu. Oh, Wushu suddenly looked to Qin Yu. Although you've become the master of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, your strength is far weaker than mine. Originally, I was prepared to not listen to your orders once. However, to give Big Brother Wu Lan face, I'll listen to your orders once. These words filled with arrogance shocked Qin Yu. If it wasn't for Ni Yang from back then, how could you possibly order me around? Oh, Wushu did not think highly of Qin Yu at all. I will only go and protect you in the moment of life and death. Normally, you only have a single opportunity to order me around. After I ascend to the divine realm, you must return my freedom to me. If you don't agree, then just kill me. From beginning to end, this Ao Wushu's expression did not change in the slightest. Qin Yu lightly smiled. Ao Wushu, Ao Wuming is my brother, I also respect you. Good, I agree to your request. Wuming is your brother. Ao Wushu's expression slightly changed as he looked to Qin Yu. Qin Yu nodded. Oh, Wushu, who was originally cold and indifferent, now had a rare smile. Wuming, how is he? Big brother Wuming is doing very well. He's traveling all over the immortal devil and demon realm with sister-in-law Lianzhu. Qin Yu said. Oh, Wushu nodded after hearing that. He took a long breath and walked far away, no longer speaking with Qin Yu. Qin Yu looked to Ao Wushu's back. This Ao Wushu seems to be estranged from the Dragon Monarch and the Dragon Clan. He seems to have a pretty good relationship with his own brother. Qin Yu was able to sense that Ao Wushu had a different attitude towards Ao Wuming. Qin Yu didn't know about Ao Wushu's childhood. At that time, only Ao Wuming, his biological brother, didn't discriminate against Ao Wushu in the slightest. Yi Chu and Wu Lan's attitude towards Qin Yu was much better. Qin Yu, you have both talent and luck. With your cultivation speed, it won't take long for you to ascend to the God realm. Wu Lan said with a smile. However, you must be strict with yourself. If you were to rely on others, the improvement of your mental state would naturally be slow. Do you know that? Qin Yu nodded. The path of a cultivator was fraught with danger. If one always relied on others, how could one achieve great success? Wu Lan nodded and comforted. It's good that you understand. To be honest, I have never cared about that Ni Yang at all. With his temperament, to pass the divine tribulation. Having a 50% chance is already pretty good. Wu Lan didn't care about immortal Emperor Ni Yang at all. Yi Chu, who was at the side, said in confusion. Big brother Wu Lan, I remember back then, you were almost unwilling to talk to Ni Yang. You didn't listen to his orders at all. You only did what Ni Yang asked you to do before he died. Why are you so good to Qin Yu? Yi Chu sized up Qin Yu with his pair of tiger eyes. I also don't feel that Qin Yu is anything extraordinary. Even his strength is weaker than Ni Yang. Why are you so good to him? At this time, Ao Wushu, who was far away, also looked over. Evidently, he was also confused about this matter. Wu Lan looked at Qin Yu with a light smile. Because I have confidence in Qin Yu. To be exact, I have confidence in that Uncle Lan. Uncle Lan? Qin Yu was stunned. Mr. Wu Lan, you also know about Uncle Lan? Wu Lan smiled and shook his head. No, I don't know about Uncle Lan at all. However, when I was in Ni Yang's realm, I once saw a puppet. I asked you who made that puppet and you told me it was Uncle Lan, right? Right. Qin Yu still remembered what happened in Ni Yang's realm. At that time, Wu Lan was actually able to tell that the sword immortal puppet was not a real person and even asked who made it. It seemed that after knowing this, Wu Lan's attitude towards Qin Yu changed greatly. Big brother Wu Lan, who is that Uncle Lan? Yi Chu asked in confusion. Don't ask, said Wu Lan mysteriously. Qin Yu was able to determine in his heart that this Wu Lan should know a bit about Uncle Lan. Perhaps, he saw some of Uncle Lan's background from the sword immortal puppet. Suddenly, Qin Yu thought of something. Where did Wu Lan come from? Qin Yu was unable to see through Wu Lan's true form, nor did he know of his origins. Wu Lan immediately said, Yi Chu, your dinosaur true form is extremely powerful. How about this? You and Wushu are the same. In the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, Qin Yu can order you to come out and protect Qin Yu once. Yes, big brother. Yi Chu seemed to be obedient to Wu Lan's words. Wu Lan smiled and looked at Qin Yu. Qin Yu, if you always have Yi Chu by your side to protect you, then even if your power increases, you will not be able to completely display your strength without going through actual combat. Qin Yu nodded his head in understanding. He completely understood this point. It was precisely because he was being chased by Emperor Yu and Shui Tianya on the Blue Snow Star that Qin Yu was able to comprehend the Lu Xing finger technique and the Emperor-level expert's domain. Qin Yu, you're not very clear about Wushu and Yi Chu's battle prowess. It's better for me to tell you in detail. Wu Lan's expression was somewhat serious. Qin Yu listened attentively. A person's strength was definitely not something that could be judged from merely their level. Wu Lan slowly said, Wushu is currently a level 8 demon emperor. His true form is also the variation super divine beast blood dragon. In his battle form, there are only a few people in the entire immortal devil and demon realm that could surpass him. Which few? Qin Yu asked. Wu Lan smiled. It's been many years since I've been in the immortal devil and demon realm. I'll only speak of some people that I know. In the demon realm, there's the Dragon Clan's Dragon Emperor, the Bird Clan's Pang Demon Emperor and Emperor Ni. Of course Qin Yu knew about the Pang Demon Emperor. The largest clan in the Bird Clan was the Pang Clan. The Pang Demon Emperor was the emperor of the Pang Clan. At the same time, he was also the emperor of the Bird Clan. Although Emperor Ni was very powerful, the phoenix was born from the world. There was only a single phoenix in the entire Bird Clan. How many of them would listen to Emperor Ni's orders? After all, behind the Pang Demon Emperor was the powerful Pang Clan. As far as I know, there aren't any in the Devil Realm. Of course, there might be powerful hidden experts that I don't know about. Said Wu Lan smiled. Qin Yu nodded. On the surface there were 3 big shots in the Devil Realm. As for hidden experts, who knows if there might be any? In the Immortal Realm, the hidden Emperor's strength ought to be about the same as Wushu's. As for those that I know of in the Immortal Realm, there's only one person that's stronger than Wushu. The Saiyan Emperor. Said Wu Lan with absolute certainty. Qin Yu was already prepared. The Saiyan Emperor was definitely not as strong as he appeared to be. As for the Dark Star Realm, none of the 3 great sovereigns are weaker than Wushu. Said Wu Lan indifferently. Qin Yu was startled. The 3 great sovereigns of the Dark Star Realm were truly frightening. Back then at the Crescent Moon Bay, the Saiyan Emperor and them had said that the head of the 3 great sovereigns of the Dark Star Realm, the previous Gold Punishment Lord, was their big brother. Other than some hidden experts, the others, for example Emperor Yu, Mystic Emperor, Blood Devil Emperor and them, are definitely not a match for Wushu. Said Wu Lan indifferently. Hearing Wu Lan's words, Qin Yu came to know one thing. Wu Lan didn't know about the existence of Granny Yin Hua. You ought to know about Wushu's strength, right? Other than those top experts of the immortal devil and demon realm, there's no one else that's a match for him. Said Wu Lan with a smile. As for Yi Chu, his strength is close to Emperor Yu. Qin Yu had a complete understanding of Ao Wushu and Yi Chu's strength. Only with an accurate understanding did he know how to properly use the one and only opportunity to order them around. That's right, you must be careful of Emperor Yu and Mystic Emperor joining hands. Wu Lan suddenly said. The two of them are both level 8 immortal emperors. However, once they join hands, not only are they comparable to level 9 immortal emperors, the most important thing is their divine artifacts are able to combine into one. That is a high-level divine artifact. I reckon that even Wushu would not be able to block it. Wu Lan's gaze was misty. It was as if he was recalling the events of the past. Evidently, Wu Lan knew about the combined attack power of Emperor Yu and Mystic Emperor. I know about that. Qin Yu nodded. Although Emperor Yu and Mystic Emperor were unable to do anything to the Jianglan's realm, their attack power still cannot be underestimated. Oh, Wushu, who was far away, suddenly spoke. Boy Qin Yu, where is this place? Only now did Ao Wushu notice that they were in a different place. In the immortal devil and demon realm, there was not a single planet that had a land as vast as the Jianglan's realm. A boundless land, anyone would feel strange. Boy Qin Yu, in the entire immortal devil and demon realm, there is not a single place that has such a vast land. Even my demon awareness is unable to explore the boundaries of the earth. Ao Wushu was shocked. The demon awareness of a level 8 demon emperor was definitely able to cover the range of an entire galaxy. The elemental spirit energy here is also excessively dense. Wu Lan was also shocked. Qin Yu started to laugh. This is the interior of the Jianglan's realm. Jianglan's realm. Wu Lan, Yi Chu and Ao Wushu all looked over. Qin Yu nodded. These people were also restricted by the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Qin Yu then said. The Jianglan's realm is a divine artifact crafted by Uncle Lan. Within this divine artifact is an enormous space. Spatial divine artifact. Wu Lan had a shocked expression. Spatial divine artifact. How come I've never heard of it before? Yi Chu and Ao Wushu were both puzzled. This was also crafted by that Uncle Lan. Wu Lan promptly asked. Qin Yu nodded. Wu Lan took a deep breath, as if he was trying to calm the shock in his heart. He looked at Qin Yu with a profound expression. Qin Yu, this Uncle Lan truly cares about you. Uncle Lan is very good to me. Qin Yu sighed. He recalled the days in the mortal realm when he was together with Uncle Lan and Lier. After a long time, Qin Yu finally woke up from his memories. Mr. Wu Lan, there's still one more thing that I haven't mentioned. I presume that you all will come to know about it in the future. The flow of time in the Jianglan's realm is different from the outside world. 10 years in here is only a year in the outside world. 10 years in here is only a year in the outside world. Chu was shocked. Ao Wushu, who was far away, also walked over. His face was filled with shock. This is too miraculous. Yi Chu found it hard to believe. This was a virtual existence. For the flow of time in the two spaces to be different, this was indeed very miraculous. Mr. Wu Lan, what's wrong? Qin Yu looked to Wu Lan in confusion. At this moment, Wu Lan's eyes were filled with shock. His complexion was even somewhat pale. It was as if he had seen a ghost. Mr. Wu Lan. Qin Yu spoke again. Big brother Wu Lan, what's wrong? Yi Chu and Ao Wushu also looked to Wu Lan. Only after everyone shouted several times did Wu Lan wake up. Wu Lan took a couple deep breaths. Only then did the expression on his face calm down a bit. Merely, there was still a trace of shock in Wu Lan's eyes. Qin Yu, is what you said true? The flow of time in the Jianglan's realm is different from the outside world. That's right. Qin Yu nodded. Wu Lan took a deep breath. He took a couple more deep glances at Qin Yu and sighed. Qin Yu, I can also promise you that in times of life and death, I can protect your life. Normally, you also possess a single opportunity to order me around. Oh! Qin Yu smiled and nodded. Wu Lan did not give an Yang the opportunity to order him around at all. To be able to give him a chance, Qin Yu was already very satisfied. Big brother Wu Lan. Big brother Wu Lan. Yi Chu and Ao Wushu both looked to Wu Lan in shock. Wu Lan continued to smile as he looked to Qin Yu. Qin Yu, when we reach the divine realm, I do not care whether or not you can return my freedom to me. Do as you wish. Yi Chu and Ao Wushu were even more shocked. Wu Lan actually did not take the opportunity to ask for his freedom in the divine realm. To Yi Chu and Ao Wushu, this was something that they could not understand. Wu Lan did not explain and merely smiled. Qin Yu nodded. For others to treat him like this, he also could not be excessive. In his heart, Qin Yu had already decided that if he was able to reach the divine realm, he would definitely return Wu Lan's freedom. Qin Yu, when you leave the Jianglan's realm, I hope that you can continue to allow me to train in the Jianglan's realm. If I train here, I can save 10 times the time. Ao Wushu suddenly said. Qin Yu smiled and asked, "Does this count as you begging me?" Ao Wushu coldly nodded and said, "Yes, I will definitely not beg you for nothing. If you allow me to train in the Jianglan's realm, I will give you another opportunity to order me around." Like this, he would have 2 opportunities to order Ao Wushu. Qin Yu was naturally happy. "Oh Wushu, I want to use 1 opportunity right now," Qin Yu said righteously. Qin Yu, do not waste this opportunity. Although you have 2 opportunities to make Ao Wushu do things, but in the future if you want Ao Wushu to beg you, it would be practically impossible. Wu Lan reminded. Qin Yu shook his head. "Understand. Oh Wushu, right now Emperor Yu and his subordinates are outside. There are about 20 plus immortal emperors. They are also in charge of a sealing element refining flames array. I hope that you can give him an unforgettable lesson. Emperor Yu's subordinates, 20 plus immortal emperors, sealing element refining flames array." A smile appeared on Ao Wushu's face. It's difficult to kill Emperor Yu. However, as for teaching him a lesson, I will make that lesson so unforgettable that Emperor Yu will never forget it in his entire life. Ao Wushu looked to Qin Yu. "Let me out." The master of the Jianglan's realm was Qin Yu. No matter how powerful Ao Wushu was, he was still unable to leave by himself. Qin Yu nodded. "Qin Yu, let me remind you of one thing," Ao Wushu suddenly said in a low voice. "Big brother Wu Lan has given you a chance to order him around. Unless it's the most important moment, it's best that you don't waste it." Ao Wushu sighed. "I truly do not understand. Why is Big Brother Wu Lan so good to you?" Qin Yu was stunned. "Well then, let me out. I'll properly teach this Emperor Yu and them a lesson." Ao Wushu said indifferently. Qin Yu did not think anymore. With an intention, Ao Wushu disappeared from the Jianglan's realm. Chapter 383. Seeing Ao Wushu disappear from the Jianglan's realm, Qin Yu couldn't help but look forward to it. What sort of scene would it be outside? Qin Yu, rest assured. With Wushu's strength, it's still very easy for him to take care of Emperor Yu and them," said Wu Lan with a light smile. He had an appearance as if victory was already in his grasp. Blood Dragon and 5-clawed Golden Dragon are both super divine beasts. Regardless of whether it's energy attacks or physical defense, the 5-clawed Golden Dragon is both extremely powerful. The Blood Dragon's close-range attacks have inherited the special advantages of divine beasts. Merely, his energy attacks are not good enough. He has taken the other extreme. Qin Yu looked to Wu Lan. He truly did not know about the attack power of the variation Super Divine Beast Blood Dragon. Wu Lan explained. The 5-clawed Golden Dragon is able to use some attack techniques. However, what the Blood Dragon is most proficient in is devouring attacks. Devouring attacks. Qin Yu was shocked. Wu Lan nodded and sighed. That's right. From what I can see, this kind of attack technique is even more powerful than the 5-clawed Golden Dragon's attack technique. The Blood Dragon is able to divide itself into multiple Blood Dragons. Once those Blood Dragons possess its body, it would be directly devoured by the Yuanying. Devour! Qin Yu was shocked just thinking about it. As expected of a variation super divine beast. Mr. Wu Lan, how did he fail when he competed against Immortal Emperor Ni Yang? Qin Yu was puzzled. This kind of attack was so powerful, how did he fail? Wu Lan smiled and said, although the devouring attack is powerful, it's not something that can be easily devoured by anyone. Of course, it can easily devour people who are much weaker than itself. However, for experts of the same level, it's very hard to devour them. Qin Yu understood in his heart. With devouring for group attacks and close-range attacks, the blood dragon could be considered as the most perfect super-divine beast that I've ever seen. Wu Lan sighed. Of course, the other super-divine beasts are also pretty good. They all have their own specialties. Ao Wushu has finally made his move. Qin Yu, who had been paying attention to the outside the entire time, finally discovered that the battle had started. He's only making his move now. Wu Lan was slightly shocked. He and Qin Yu had been talking for a while now, yet the battle outside had only just started. Actually, the first reason was because the time ratio between the Jianglan's realm and the outside world was 10:1. The other reason was, Wushu was putting on airs. Boy Qin Yu, quickly have our demon awareness leave this Jianglan's realm so that we can properly see the situation of the battle outside, said Yi Chu hurriedly. Being in the Jianglan's realm, they were unable to use their demon awareness to leave the Jianglan's realm. With an intention from Qin Yu, he allowed Yi Chu and Wu Lan's demon awareness to leave the Jianglan's realm. Times the original location of the reef Yellow Star had already become an endless stretch of space. The enormous sealing element refining inferno array had been maintained all this time. After all, no one could say for sure whether or not this Qin Yu would suddenly charge out of the sealing element refining inferno array. If he were to escape, then all their efforts would have been for naught. Including Emperor Yu, there were 12 immortal emperors surrounding the green speck. Emperor Yu and the others were all sitting cross-legged around the green speck. 20 years. Emperor Yu and the others had already guarded this area for an entire 20 years. In these 20 years, Emperor Yu had thought of all sorts of methods. He had relied on the immortal emperors under him to join forces to attack. He had even asked the mystic emperor to join forces with him. However, without exception, Emperor Yu had failed. They were unable to break it open. Although Emperor Yu appeared to be calm as he sat cross-legged in the air, he was actually pondering the method to open the green speck in his heart. What should we do? I truly do not know how Immortal Emperor Ai Yang managed to comprehend such an exceptional defensive barrier when he died. Even Shi'er and I together were unable to break it open. Even now, Emperor Yu still thought that the green speck was the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. Emperor Yu could not be blamed. Spatial divine artifact. Emperor Yu had never even heard of it. Suddenly, Emperor Yu looked to his left. In the void several hundred meters to the left of the crowd, a stern-looking man suddenly appeared. Who are you? Emperor Yu abruptly stood up. Wushu looked to Emperor Yu without saying a word. Emperor Yu was surrounded by 11 immortal emperors. These 11 immortal emperors also stood beside Emperor Yu. Including Emperor Yu, this group of people all had very serious expressions. They all felt the pressure. That was the oppressive feeling brought about by frightening strength. Since when did the demon realm have a new level 8 demon emperor? Emperor Yu was greatly shocked. He was a level 8 immortal emperor. Although he was unable to see through Ao Wushu, he was still able to sense the demon realm's aura that Ao Wushu possessed. Friend from the demon realm, I am Emperor Yu. May I know who you are? Emperor Yu was interrupted by Ao Wushu halfway through his sentence. Emperor Yu, long time no see. You actually don't recognize me, haha. Ao Wushu laughed loudly. However, the surrounding space seemed to have condensed, causing those immortal emperors to feel nervous. Emperor Yu's pupils shrunk. The 11 immortal emperors beside him were all prepared to attack at any moment. Are you ready? 2 rays of red light suddenly appeared in Ao Wushu's eyes. Roar! Very abruptly, an extremely resounding dragon roar resounded in the boundless outer space. Ao Wushu's figure completely disappeared, and an enormous blood-red dragon that was over 1,000 li long appeared in the sky. Those blood-red dragon scales were flashing with a demonic radiance. The malevolent dragon head stared at Emperor Yu and his group of people. Emperor Yu and the 11 immortal emperors were all stunned. It's the blood dragon Ao Wushu. Emperor Yu woke up with a start. However, right at this moment, the 1,000 miles long crimson dragon suddenly moved. With a single movement, its entire body turned into a crimson-red blur. Emperor Yu and the others only saw an enormous dragon mouth moving towards them. Devour. Emperor Yu and the 11 immortal emperors immediately felt that they had entered a blood-red world. Break. The great emperor's sword in Emperor Yu's hand emitted a boundless golden light. With a flick of a finger, the blood dragon had already flown back to its original location. As for Emperor Yu and his group of people, they were still at their original location. However, at this moment, including Emperor Yu, only 4 immortal emperors were still alive. Green-blooded sword Immortal Ji Bai, yellow-gowned immortal emperor Mu Yen, and a level 6 immortal emperor. It devoured 8 great immortal emperors in one gulp. The enormous dragon head of the 1,000 miles blood dragon suddenly raised its head and looked towards the light barrier of the sealing element refining flames array. Its enormous dragon body turned into a blood-red blur and ruthlessly crashed into the light barrier. The sealing element refining flames array was set up by 16 immortal emperors. The strongest among these 16 immortal emperors, Immortal Emperor Yu Fan, was only a level 6 immortal emperor. Although the defensive power of this sealing element refining flames array could be considered to be very strong, the attack power of a level 7 immortal emperor was enough to forcibly break it open. Bang! A level 8 demon emperor super divine beast violently crashed into the light barrier. Emperor Yu's entire body shook. That's right, he wanted to kill 16 immortal emperors. Emperor Yu woke up from his daze. Stop him! Emperor Yu suddenly roared loudly. At the same time, he sent a voice transmission to the 16 immortal emperors. Yu Fan, quickly run away. Like thunder, Emperor Yu's voice transmission resounded in the minds of the 16 immortal emperors. The 16 immortal emperors were already shocked when the 1,000 miles blood dragon appeared. However, with Emperor Yu present, how could they possibly dare to run away? At this moment, they heard Emperor Yu's order and wanted to run away. Unfortunately, it was too late. The sealing element refining flames array was shattered, causing the entire space to tremble. The 16 immortal emperors were unable to teleport at all. A dragon roar. That 1,000 miles blood dragon actually split apart in an instant. The 1,000 miles blood dragon instantly turned into 16 blood dragons. These 16 blood dragons instantly enveloped the 16 immortal emperors. This was what Wu Lan and Qin Yu had said, the blood dragon's special ability, splitting into blood dragons to engulf a group of blood dragons. This was not a doppelganger technique. 16 blood dragons. Any one of the blood dragons possessed about 30% of Ao Wushu's strength. They were only a bit weaker than a level 8 immortal emperor. With a miserable shriek, the 16 immortal emperors disappeared. Roar! Another dragon roar sounded. The 16 blood dragons suddenly charged toward Emperor Yu and the other 3. At the same time, the 16 blood dragons converged into a 1,000 miles blood dragon. In the process of fleeing, that 1,000 miles blood dragon actually disappeared into thin air. A figure appeared. His entire body was covered with a layer of blood-red dragon scales. His long hair had actually turned blood-red in color. There were even 2 dragon eyes on his head. His ice-cold crystal-like eyes were staring at Emperor Yu. Ao Wushu in his battle form. The Ao Wushu with the strongest attack power. Emperor Yu, green-blooded sword Immortal Ji Bai, yellow-gowned immortal emperor Mu Yen and a level 6 immortal emperor were filled with anger and fear. You're Ao Wushu. Emperor Yu's entire body was trembling. That's right. Ao Wushu coldly stared at Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu, back then, I was still unable to defeat you. Most we'd be tied. However, now that I've reached level 8 Demon Emperor, today's ending will only be, I'll ravage you. In a short period of time, 24 immortal emperors had already died. Qin Yu opened the third layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Emperor Yu spoke, his voice was cold. When he saw Ao Wushu, Emperor Yu already knew that Qin Yu must have opened the third layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. After all, back then, Ao Wushu had become a spiritual beast in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. This was something that the upper echelons of the immortal, devil and demon realm knew about. That's right. Ao Wushu coldly stared at Emperor Yu. Run! Emperor Yu simultaneously sent a voice transmission to his subordinates. A level 8 demon emperor super divine beast. Even Emperor Yu was no match for him. Back then, the level 7 demon emperor Ao Wushu was already on par with Emperor Yu. The current Ao Wushu was even more frightening. The 4 immortal emperors moved almost simultaneously. Die! The ice-cold voice was still echoing. Ao Wushu's entire body turned into a red light. That red light suddenly split into 4. The 4 red lights simultaneously attacked Emperor Yu and the other 3 immortal emperors, forcing them to be unable to escape. A level 6 immortal emperor died in battle. Soon after, the 4 red lights once again turned into 3 red lights. Battle. Ao Wushu's main body held a battle blade. This battle blade was extremely long as Ao Wushu's entire body. However, Ao Wushu's attack was extremely fast and his attack power was also very astonishing. Ao Wushu's main body attacked Emperor Yu. The 2 clones attacked the yellow-gowned immortal emperor and the green-blooded sword immortal. The space trembled. Like a storm, a frantic energy spread in all directions from the location of the battle. Emperor Yu, the green-blooded sword immortal and the yellow-gowned immortal emperor were all desperately trying to escape. In the time of 10 breaths, Ao Wushu's body once again appeared beside the green speck. Unfortunately, Emperor Yu had a divine armor. It's one thing that he wasn't killed, but who would have thought that the yellow-gowned immortal emperor would also be able to escape? Ao Wushu sighed. Controlling 2 clones to attack at the same time, the main body's attack power was also affected. Otherwise, Emperor Yu wouldn't have been able to escape so easily. Qin Yu, let me return. Ao Wushu sent a voice transmission and then disappeared from the outer space. The boundless outer space energy was still trembling. However, other than some blood floating in the sky, there were no other traces of battle. Times on a desolate planet. 2 miserable figures appeared on the surface of this planet. The yellow-gowned immortal emperor Mu Yen was half kneeling on the ground. His complexion was deathly pale. Although the yellow-gowned immortal emperor Mu Yan's attack power was inferior to the green-blooded sword immortals, his defense was much higher. This time, it was precisely because of his defense that the yellow-gowned immortal emperor was able to escape with his life. As for the famous green-blooded sword immortal Ji Bai, he lost his life in this battle. Although the green-blooded sword immortal's attack power was strong, his defense was inferior to the yellow-gowned immortal emperor. This time he lost his life because of this. The green-blooded sword immortal Ji Bai, who moved unhindered in the immortal, devil and demon realm, had fallen. Emperor Yu's luxurious purple gown was still stained with blood. His complexion was very pale. Mu Yen, how many did we lose this time? Mu Yen was the person who controlled the various powers under Emperor Yu. Normally, after a battle, Emperor Yu would ask Mu Yen about the statistics. Mu Yen stood up. His complexion was extremely ugly. Your Majesty, in this battle, we lost 26 immortal emperors. 26. Hearing this number, Emperor Yu's heart ached. Mu Yen continued. Your Majesty, the Reef Yellow Star was the most likely one of the 3 great planets. Those 16 immortal emperors were also relatively strong. As for the other 10 immortal emperors, they were summoned by Your Majesty to attack the green speck. Those 10 immortal emperors were also extremely powerful. Emperor Yu's heart was trembling. It was precisely because those 10 immortal emperors were powerful that they were summoned by him to attack the green speck. These 26 immortal emperors, in terms of numbers, were less than half of Emperor Yu's subordinates. However, they were the true elites under Emperor Yu. In this battle, more than half of Emperor Yu's elites were lost. Their strength was less than half of their original strength. Even Ji Bai has died in battle. Your Majesty's generals have practically all been killed. Only Your Majesty and I have reached level 6 Immortal Emperor. Mu Yan's voice was also very gloomy. There were indeed many immortal emperors under Emperor Yu. However, not a single one of those immortal emperors surpassed level 6 Immortal Emperor. Qin Yu Ao Wushu. Emperor Yu's entire body was trembling. Emperor Yu took a deep breath. Return. Yes, Your Majesty. Soon after, the two of them disappeared from the desolate planet. Inside the Jianglan's realm, seeing Ao Wushu appear before them, Qin Yu, Yi Chu and Wu Lan all walked up to him. Even the other 4 demon emperors were filled with excitement. They also knew about what had happened earlier, killing 26 immortal emperors. Furthermore, they were all elites under Emperor Yu. Among them was even the green-blooded sword Immortal Ji Bai. Wushu not bad, said Wu Lan with a smile. Qin Yu's eyes were still filled with admiration. Wushu, you killed 26 in one go. Even the green-blooded sword Immortal was killed. There were also a few level 6 immortal emperors such as Immortal Emperor Yu Fan. You are indeed powerful. Ao Wushu's face was still very grave and stern. It's nothing. Back then I said that Emperor Yu was hard to kill. I thought that I would be able to kill 27 this time. Never would I have thought that one more escaped. After saying that, Ao Wushu's face still had a trace of regret. It was as if he was very dissatisfied with his own battle results. Qin Yu, Yi Chu, Wu Lan and the others were momentarily stunned. Chapter 384. Ao Wushu's words had shocked Qin Yu and them. He had killed 26 immortal emperors in one go, yet he was still not satisfied. Strong enough. Yi Chu's eyes shined. He opened his mouth and started to laugh. Never would I have thought that an ice block like you, other than coldly training and fighting, would also be able to speak as arrogant as me. Hearing Yi Chu's words, Qin Yu also smiled. Wu Lan also had a smile on his face. However, Ao Wushu was still cold. He looked to Qin Yu and said coldly, Qin Yu, let me remind you. Emin. Qin Yu was startled. Ao Wushu said coldly, you have already used one of the 2 chances to order me. Now there is only one chance left. Furthermore, from today onwards, you are not allowed to put me into the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. I must always be in the Jianglan's realm. This is what you promised me. No. Qin Yu nodded. Ao Wushu nodded. He then walked to a grassland far away and sat down cross-legged. He no longer bothered with Qin Yu. Qin Yu don't mind him. Wushu's personality is like this. He does not like to talk too much with others. Wu Lan said to Qin Yu with a smile. Qin Yu did not mind it at all. Yi Chu laughed mischievously and said, Qin Yu, that ice block is ice cold. However, I, Yi Chu, am passionate like fire. If you have nothing to do, feel free to find me. After all, I am extremely bored. This tyrant dragon Yi Chu was a simple and honest boor. Qin Yu nodded. Mr. Wu Lan. Qin Yu had always had a question in his heart. Have a question. Although I have some clues, I am still unable to completely understand it. I wonder if you could tell me the truth. Go ahead, said Wu Lan with a smile. Yi Chu also looked to Qin Yu. Qin Yu nodded and said, as far as I know, Mr. Wu Lan, you 3 had all promised An Yang that you would protect him at the moment of life and death. However, in the end, An Yang still died. Does this count as you 3 not being able to protect him well? Qin Yu's question was a bit piercing. However, Wu Lan and Yi Chu did not mind. Qin Yu, the 3 of us promised An Yang that we would protect him in the face of death. That Emperor Yu and the Mystic Emperor first used their power to oppress An Yang and forced him to go to the Bewitching God Temple with them. That time An Yang agreed. Wu Lan slowly said. Qin Yu's heart skipped a beat. Bewitching God Temple. What was that place? Merely, and I Yang was merely feigning civility. After stepping into the Bewitching God Temple, I Yang relied on his familiarity with the Bewitching God Temple and used a little trick to instantly throw off Emperor Yu and the Mystic Emperor. However, extreme joy begets sorrow. When I Yang stepped into a certain strategic location of the Bewitching God Temple, he stepped on a poisonous insect from the divine realm. Back then, when the three of us were in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, who would have thought that I Yang would be so unlucky? By the time we found out, it was already too late. Wu Lan lightly smiled. Extreme joy begets sorrow. This I Yang has forgotten that in the Bewitching God Temple, no matter what, one cannot relax. Are the poisonous insects of the divine realm really that powerful? Qin Yu said in shock. From Qin Yu's point of view, Immortal Emperor I Yang was, after all, a level 8 Immortal Emperor. It was merely a poisonous insect from the divine realm. How could it be that powerful? Wu Lan's expression slightly changed. He did not speak for a long time, as if he was immersed in his memories. Mr. Wu Lan. Qin Yu shouted. Wu Lan woke up, smiled apologetically and said, "Speaking of the poisonous insects of the divine realm, Qin Yu, I can tell you this. You cannot look down upon anything in the divine realm. Poisonous insects of the divine realm. Let me tell you, even those who have ascended to the divine realm, if they were to be poisoned by the poisonous insects, their souls would scatter." Qin Yu was overwhelmed with shock. Even those who have ascended to the divine realm could be killed by the poisonous insects of the divine realm. These poisonous insects of the divine realm were a bit too frightening. The poisonous insects of the divine realm are also divided into different grades. Some poisonous insects are very powerful, some poisonous insects are very weak. Even if the poisonous insects of the divine realm are dead, their teeth, tail, thorns and other parts of their bodies would still be extremely poisonous. Once they were poisoned, I Yang was merely an immortal emperor. How could he not die? Wu Lan said in such a matter-of-fact manner. Qin Yu had an idea in his mind. The people of the divine realm were also divided into different grades. The poisonous insects of the divine realm were also divided into different grades. However, to be able to survive in the divine realm, one could not look down upon the poisonous insects of the divine realm, even if they were the corpses of poisonous insects. Mr. Wu Lan, can you tell me a bit about the matters of the divine realm? Qin Yu quickly asked. Wu Lan looked at Qin Yu, lightly smiled and said, "Qin Yu, don't be too anxious. What you need to do right now is to slowly cultivate. When you're about to ascend to the divine realm, I will definitely tell you everything I know." Qin Yu smiled embarrassedly. Generally, people would be curious about the unknown. Qin Yu was naturally no exception. What Wu Lan said was correct. Even if he knew about it now, it would not be of much use to Qin Yu. Mr. Wu Lan, in the entire immortal devil and demon realm, I reckon that there aren't many people who know about the divine realm. How do you know so much about the divine realm? Qin Yu asked as he thought about it. Wu Lan was slightly startled. Yi Chu proudly smiled and said, "Of course Big Brother Wu Lan knows about the divine realm. In the entire immortal devil and demon realm, how could there be anyone who knows as much about the divine realm as my big brother Wu Lan?" "Why?" Qin Yu quickly asked. Wu Lan took a deep breath, lightly smiled at Qin Yu and said, "Qin Yu, the 10,000 Beasts Atlas are all monstrous beasts. As for me, I am merely an ordinary monstrous beast of the divine realm." Monstrous beast of the divine realm. Qin Yu's heart was as if a hurricane had been set off. Although he felt that this Mr. Wu Lan's origin was mysterious, he still felt incomparably shocked when he received this answer. Divine realm. That was the holy land that countless experts in the immortal devil and demon realm yearned for. Regardless of whether it was Lin Yin, the Saiyan Emperor or any other experts, they all wanted to ascend to the divine realm. Yet Wu Lan was actually from the divine realm. "Mr. Wu Lan, how is that possible? You're from the divine realm. How could you possibly come to the immortal, devil and demon realm?" Qin Yu quickly asked. Furthermore, why is your strength only that of a level 7 demon emperor? The demon clans of the divine realm ought to be very powerful, right? Wu Lan lightly smiled. How powerful the monstrous beasts of the divine realm are. You'll know once you go to the divine realm. There are many things in the divine realm that are not what you think they are. As for how I came to the immortal devil and demon realm, it's all because of that bewitching god temple. Bewitching god temple. Qin Yu once again heard about the bewitching god temple. Well then, I don't want to talk about this for the time being. Qin Yu, right now, I only hope that you'll be able to ascend to the divine realm as soon as possible. It's already been a long time since I've returned to my hometown. Wu Lan looked to Qin Yu with a trace of expectation in his eyes. Return home. The divine realm was Wu Lan's hometown. To Wu Lan, the immortal devil and demon realm was merely a foreign land. Mr. Wu Lan, I will do my best to train. Qin Yu nodded. Qin Yu suddenly looked to the boundless land. Following Qin Yu's intention, immediately, the elemental spirit energy of the entire Jianglan's realm started to circulate. In an instant, numerous rivers appeared in the Jianglan's realm. Vast rivers appeared and numerous mountains appeared. Palaces, buildings, pavilions and all kinds of flowers, plants and trees appeared. In a blink of an eye, the enormous Jianglan's realm had undergone a great change. It was no longer like the boundless land of the past. The current Jianglan's realm was like an ordinary planet. This was Qin Yu's world. Qin Yu was able to change into whatever he wanted. What a great, remarkable ability. Seeing this scene, Wu Lan's eyes started to shine. He was unable to refrain himself from gasping in admiration. Merely, Wu Lan knew that the person who truly possessed this remarkable ability was not Qin Yu. Instead, it was Uncle Lan. Qin Yu only possessed this remarkable ability because he possessed the Jianglan's realm. Seeing the scene before him, Yi Chu was dumbstruck. Mr. Wu Lan, Yi Chu, Brother Wushu and Yun Ming, the four of you, there are a lot of palaces and buildings here. You all can live wherever you want, said Qin Yu with a smile. Wu Lan was also very satisfied with the countless buildings. These buildings of all kinds and even different styles were actually some of the buildings that Qin Yu had memorized from his visits to the Blue Flame Star, Hidden Emperor Star and other large planets. Mr. Wu Lan, you all can rest first. I still need to train for 10 days to half a month. Farewell, Qin Yu said with a smile. Soon after, Qin Yu chose a pavilion near the water and started to train. Although Qin Yu had reached the late-stage black hole realm and his soul's level had also reached the first level of the heavenly soul realm, merely, Qin Yu understood that even if his strength had increased, he might not be able to fully unleash his attacks. What he needed to do was to be the same as when he entered seclusion training on the Blue Snow Star. He needed to be able to perfectly unleash his strength. With the comprehension from last time as the foundation, he ought to be able to do it very quickly this time. Times, not to mention that Qin Yu was training in the Jianglan's realm. This time, Qin Yu had opened the third layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas and sent out the blood dragon Ao Wushu to ruthlessly massacre everyone. Almost all of the elites under Emperor Yu's command were massacred. Even the green-blooded sword immortal was killed in this battle. This battle had shocked the entire immortal, devil and demon realm. 26 immortal emperor elites were killed, including the green-blooded sword immortal. Such a great loss, even in the immortal devil and demon realm that was filled with endless killing, it could still be considered as a rare sight. Furthermore, experts that had reached level 7 immortal emperor level were rarely killed in the immortal, devil and demon realm. That was because when a level 7 immortal emperor faced a level 8 immortal emperor, although they would not be a match for the level 8 immortal emperor, they would still be able to escape. To be able to directly kill a level 7 immortal emperor, one would be a level 9 immortal emperor level expert. How many experts of this level would go on a killing spree? However, the blood dragon Ao Wushu was a bloodthirsty person. He did not care about bullying the weak. Since Qin Yu had given the order, he, Ao Wushu, would strive to do his best to kill those that could be killed. Maple leaves drifted down. In a world of red, a woman wearing a white muslin dress sat on the ground. It was as if she was perfectly compatible with this red world. Your Majesty. Suddenly, an old man appeared in this red world. Speak, the woman said dully. The old man said respectfully, Your Majesty, Emperor Yu led a group of his subordinates to besiege Qin Yu. Unfortunately, the result was that the immortal emperors under Emperor Yu were all slaughtered. Of the 26 immortal emperors that were killed, only Emperor Yu and the yellow-gowned immortal Emperor Mu Yen managed to escape. That woman's figure moved. She had already stood up. Turning her head to look at the woman, her gaze was cold. What about the green-blooded sword immortal? The green-blooded sword immortal Ji Bai also died in this battle. The 26 immortal emperors that died this time could be considered as the elites under Emperor Yu. After this battle, the only ones under Emperor Yu who had reached level 6 immortal emperor level were himself and Mu Yen. The old man also sighed endlessly. A trace of a smile appeared on the woman's face. She lightly nodded her head. Understand. You can leave now. Yes, Your Majesty. The old man left. There was still only a white-clothed woman in this red world. The white-clothed woman looked at the falling maple leaves. Her gaze was misty. To be able to kill that many immortal emperors and even let Emperor Yu escape, that Qin Yu definitely does not have that kind of strength. Could it be that he opened the third layer of my 10,000 Beasts Atlas? The strongest blood dragon in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas seems to only be a level 7 demon emperor. What's going on? The white-clothed woman muttered in a low voice. Seems that this Qin Yu cannot be underestimated. After opening the third layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, he is a threat to anyone. Jade Wave Star, Crescent Moon Bay. The Dragon Emperor and Cyan Emperor were drinking wine. It had already been 20 years since they last met. Granny Yin Hua and Emperor Enai had already left long ago. Only the Dragon Emperor was still here. The Dragon Emperor was waiting for this day. Old Dragon, congratulations. The Cyan Emperor's face was filled with smiles. The Dragon Emperor's expression was very strange. Although he was smiling, there was always some helplessness. In the battle not long ago, the Jade Wave Star was not far from the Reef Yellow Star. Thus, the Cyan Emperor and the Dragon Emperor were able to clearly see that battle. Your eldest son's strength is truly frightening. He has actually reached level 8 Demon Emperor. A level 8 Demon Emperor Super Divine Beast, haha. In terms of strength he is already not inferior to you, said the Cyan Emperor with a smile. The Dragon Emperor was indeed only a level 8 Demon Emperor Super Divine Beast. The Dragon Emperor raised his head and drank a cup of wine. He heaved a long sigh. Qi Qing, what do you think is going on with me, Ao Feng? Of my 2 sons, one is a 5-clawed golden dragon and the other is a blood dragon. I should be proud. Indeed, you should be proud. Your dragon clan will forever remember your great name, Ao Feng. Both of your sons are so abnormal. The Cyan Emperor also smiled. The Dragon Emperor smiled bitterly. However, these 2 sons, there is no need to talk about Wushu. When he was young, I indeed did not treat him well. By the time I regretted it, he had already stopped recognizing me as his father. Arrogant and eccentric, this kind of character is simply not fit to become the Dragon Clan's emperor. The Cyan Emperor also nodded. With Ao Wushu's character, he was indeed not fit to become the Dragon Clan's emperor. The Cyan Emperor smiled comfortingly. Don't you still have Wuming? I see that Wuming is heroic enough. Furthermore, he also likes to make good friends and brothers. The Dragon Emperor lightly smiled and nodded. You're right. If Wuming were to become the Dragon Emperor, he would barely qualify. However, to be honest, Wuming is also rebellious in his bones. Look at him. He actually married a white fox. In the entire history of the Dragon Clan, other than him, was there any other 5-clawed golden dragon that married a non-dragon? The Cyan Emperor had no choice but to nod and admit. In the history of the Dragon Clan, other than Ao Wuming, There was no other five-clawed golden dragon that dared to marry a non-dragon. After all, the five-clawed golden dragon's bloodline was still very precious. Sigh, both of my sons are so rebellious and disobedient. Wu Ming frequently travels all over the immortal, devil and demon realm. Isn't it all because he doesn't want to see me? Forget about it. After I pass the divine tribulation and let Wu Ming become the Dragon Emperor, I'll be able to relax. The Dragon Emperor's heart was filled with helplessness. Dragon Emperor, your son is indeed powerful. Unfortunately, your ability to teach your son is too poor. The Cyan Emperor suddenly scolded the Dragon Emperor with a smile. Old dragon, a few days ago you were so good to Qinyu. It seems that you wanted Qinyu to be better to Ao Wushu. You cunning old dragon. The Dragon Emperor sighed helplessly. You also know about Wushu's temperament. He's very proud and aloof. I reckon that he wouldn't listen to Qinyu. I was worried that Qinyu would kill Wushu in anger. Thus I made a good relationship with Qinyu beforehand. This Qinyu would at least not kill Wushu because of me. As the master of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, no matter how strong the demon emperors in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas were, Qinyu could still kill them with a single thought. Chapter 385. Cyan Emperor nodded and said with a smile, "That's right, with my understanding of Qinyu, with how well you treat him, Qinyu would definitely not disregard your face and kill Wushu. Old dragon, a few days ago I didn't care much about Qinyu, but now, this Qinyu cannot be looked down upon." That's right. Dragon Emperor frowned. As far as I know, there are 3 most powerful demon emperors in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, including Wushu. The other 2 seem to be no weaker than Wushu. Of course. That's only if Immortal Emperor Enai is still alive. Immortal Emperor Enai had once used the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Experts at the level of the Dragon Emperor all knew that there were 3 extremely powerful demon emperors in the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Of these 3 demon emperors, the most dazzling were Blood Dragon Ao Wushu and Tyrant Dragon Yi Chu. On the contrary, Wu Lan's reputation was the smallest. After all, back then, Wu Lan had only promised to protect Immortal Emperor Enai Yang's life. Normally, Wu Lan would not listen to Immortal Emperor Enai Yang's orders. Immortal Emperor Enai Yang could do nothing about it. After all, the method he used to get Wu Lan into the 10,000 Beasts Atlas was not honorable. For Wu Lan to promise to protect him in a life-and-death situation, he was already very satisfied. Immortal Emperor Enai Yang died less than 100,000 years ago. 100,000 years, it's impossible for ordinary demon emperors to break through so quickly. According to my estimation, the other 2 demon emperors only have the strength of level 7 demon emperors. Cyan Emperor sighed. With only Ao Wushu and those 2 demon emperors, the current Qinyu, there are not many people in the entire immortal, devil and demon realm who would dare to provoke him. Dragon Emperor also nodded. Qinyu, if nothing unexpected happens, his strength will increase and he will become a hero of the immortal, devil and demon realm. Dragon Emperor seemed to be able to see the scene 10,000 years later. Qinyu, who had opened the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas, was no longer the soft persimmon that others could pinch as they wished. If one wanted to pinch this persimmon, one must first see if one's hand was strong enough. The big shots of the entire immortal, devil and demon realm, the immortal realm, the devil realm and even the demon realm, were all paying attention to the process of that battle. At the same time, the news of this great battle was quickly spread throughout the entire immortal, devil and demon realm like a whirlwind. Those big shots knew of Qinyu's prowess, and from various channels, they also learned or guessed that Qinyu had opened the 3rd layer of the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Emperor Yu's crushing defeat caused the other big shots, such as Xue Tianya and the others, to have misgivings in their hearts. Before they had absolute certainty, they no longer dared to casually deal with Qinyu. Every single expert began to take him seriously. This was a person who had recently risen to prominence. Emperor Yu, the Blood Devil Emperor, the Black Devil Emperor and the others all attached great importance to Qinyu. As for the countless cultivators of the immortal devil and demon realm, they instead spread this matter around like a legend. Perhaps only the dark star realm that did not communicate with the outside world did not know of Qin Yu's great name. 26 immortal emperors. Every single one of those immortal emperors were extremely powerful. With so many of them dying all of a sudden, there was no need to explain the speed at which such a huge matter spread. One could imagine the frightening speed at which it spread. As for the countless cultivators of the immortal realm, devil realm and demon realm, most of them had heard of Qin Yu's great name. Those cultivators with ordinary status did not know about the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. They only knew one thing. Emperor Yu and a large group of people besieged Qin Yu. In the end, 26 immortal emperors were killed, including the green-blooded sword immortal. In the end, only Emperor Yu and Mu Yen were able to escape. This battle achievement was like a legend. Emperor Yu, Mystic Emperor, green-blooded sword immortal. In the hearts of countless cultivators, this group of people were supreme existences, legendary existences, invincible existences. And ever since they heard of this legend, countless cultivators of the immortal devil and demon realm began to view Qin Yu as an invincible existence, as a supreme existence, comparable to Emperor Yu, Mystic Emperor, Blood Devil Emperor and the other super experts. Henceforth, Qin Yu's great name spread throughout the immortal devil and demon realm. Times immortal realm. Misty clouds and mist. Within the pavilion within the endless clouds and mist, Emperor Yu was quietly standing. Currently, Emperor Yu's clothes were very clean. He no longer looked as miserable as when he was fleeing for his life. However, Emperor Yu's gaze was very misty. The yellow-gowned immortal Emperor Mu Yen stood far away. He looked at Emperor Yu from afar but did not dare to take a step forward. This time the impact on Emperor Yu was too great. The true elites under his command were almost all annihilated, including his right-hand man, the green-blooded sword immortal Ji Bai. Mu Yen. Emperor Yu suddenly spoke. Immortal Emperor Mu Yen hurriedly walked forward and said respectfully, "Your Majesty." Emperor Yu's expression was very calm. However, there was a trace of morbid paleness. Mu Yen, did you hear what those ordinary cultivators outside were saying? They are spreading the great name of Qin Yu. Mu Yen smiled bitterly. To cultivators who had lived for countless years, a great battle where 26 immortal emperors died was definitely worth spreading. Especially the dark horse Qin Yu who appeared out of nowhere in this battle. Many cultivators had a trace of longing in their hearts. They longed to violently beat up the high and mighty Emperor Yu, Saiyan Emperor and them. This was merely a rebellious mentality deep in their hearts. The majority of the people had it. When they saw that the person who appeared out of nowhere did it, they all became excited. At the same time, they also remembered the name of this person, Qin Yu. Naturally, they spared no effort in spreading the news. Trampling on my body to establish his mighty name. Emperor Yu laughed at himself. This time I have indeed lost miserably. Emperor Yu's complexion grew even paler. Your Majesty. Mu Yen felt that Emperor Yu's tone was not right. Emperor Yu turned around and looked at Mu Yen. Mu Yen, from childhood until now, I have experienced countless hardships. I, Feng Yu, have experienced all kinds of setbacks. However, I had never thought that when I became Emperor Yu, I would be trampled under the foot of a brat and become his fame. Ji Bai is dead. Yu Fan and them are also dead. They had followed me for countless years. Yu Ji Bai and them had always followed behind me. Only through countless battles did I obtain the mighty name of Emperor Yu. In merely a single battle they all died. Emperor Yu slowly walked 2 to 3 steps forward. Merely a single battle. Emperor Yu's voice was still echoing. His entire body had already disappeared. Your Majesty. Mu Yen was greatly alarmed. Mu Yen, don't look for me. Now help me manage all the territories under my command. This time I might return in 2 to 3 days. I might return in 2 to 300 years. I might also return in 10 million years. You don't have to look for me. Emperor Yu's voice was faintly discernible. It resounded in Mu Yan's mind. Mu Yan's body stopped moving. The expression on his face also froze. Hearing Emperor Yu's final words, Mu Yan was able to sense the change in Emperor Yu's state of mind. This time around, the impact on Emperor Yu was too great. Mu Yan was unable to imagine Emperor Yu's current state of mind. However, Mu Yan knew that if Emperor Yu was unable to break free from that state of mind, he would not be able to become the Emperor Yu that laughed proudly at the world. Emperor Yu, when will he return? Times the demon realm was incomparably vast. It occupied 50% of the immortal devil and demon realm. Among them, the Beast Clan's territory was mainly located in the western part of the immortal devil and demon realm. As for the Dragon Clan's territory, it was located in the northwestern part of the immortal devil and demon realm. As for the Bird Clan's territory, it was located in the northern part of the immortal devil and demon realm. The immortal realm and the Beast Clan's territory were separated by a boundless expanse of outer space. This expanse of outer space was comparable to a starfield. Within this boundless expanse of outer space were all kinds of frightening energies. If one were to rely on greater teleportation, no one would dare to break through. If 100 people were to break through, at least 90 of them would lose their lives. The remaining 10 people would be lucky and pass through the safe path outside of the frightening energies. In the extreme west of the immortal realm, there were many bordering planets that led to the demon realm. The giant tree star was one of the bordering planets in the extreme west of the immortal realm. The reason why the giant tree star was so famous was because in the core of the giant tree star, there was a terrifyingly tall and sturdy enormous tree. The roots of this enormous tree practically penetrated half of the giant tree star's underground. Because of this mysterious enormous tree, the giant tree star's elemental spirit energy was extremely dense. There were also a lot of experts here. In the giant tree star's territory, Strange Cloth City. On the streets of the Strange Cloth City, a grave and stern man. His long black hair was fluttering in the wind. His black gown matched with his pair of deep eyes. Naturally, he possessed a special temperament that caused the surrounding people to retreat. This was Qin Yu, who had recovered his true appearance. As for the black gown he was wearing, it was the divine armor, black frozen snow. Currently, Qin Yu did not want to be as reserved as before. With his current strength nearing that of a third-level immortal emperor, in addition to the divine armor, divine sword, Skypiercer and so on, Qin Yu's actual attack power was definitely comparable to that of a 6th-level immortal emperor. Furthermore, the current Qin Yu was also confident that he could withstand the attacks of Emperor Yu and the others. Back then, when I was in the middle stage black hole realm, Granny Yinhua said that there were more than 10 people in the immortal devil and demon realm that could break through my divine armor. Now that my strength has increased tenfold, how many people in the immortal devil and demon realm that could break through my divine armor? The current Qin Yu was truly not afraid. Perhaps only the Dragon Emperor, Emperor Anai, Cyan Emperor and a few others could pose a threat to him. Merely, Qin Yu believed that those people would not come to deal with him. A few days ago, Qin Yu had bitterly trained in the Jianglan's realm for another half a month. After his comprehension of the sky-piercing finger and domain had increased, Qin Yu exited the Jianglan's realm and began to set off for the demon realm. His journey was rather peaceful. Midway, Qin Yu stopped once to rest. Afterwards, he arrived at the border planet, the giant tree star, in a single breath. Qin Yu planned to rest for a while and then directly enter the demon realm. Qin Yu raised his head and looked. Giant Tree Restaurant. This was the largest restaurant that Qin Yu had discovered in the Strange Cloth City with his immortal awareness. For it to dare to name itself after a planet, it meant that this restaurant was no ordinary restaurant. Qin Yu directly entered the restaurant. There were no customers on the first floor of the restaurant. It was merely a reception hall. The second floor was where the customers ate and drank. Qin Yu directly went up to the second floor. When the maid at the entrance of the stairs saw Qin Yu, With her experience of receiving hundreds and thousands of customers every day, she was immediately able to tell that Qin Yu was no ordinary cultivator. "Young master, please come over here." That maid very tactfully brought Qin Yu to a table near the window. In a restaurant, a table near the window was a relatively good table. Qin Yu casually ordered a dozen or so of the so-called signature dishes. After that, Qin Yu ordered some good wine as well as the green leaf wine that was unique to the giant tree star. After the wine and dishes were served, Qin Yu began to peacefully enjoy this banquet. "Say, brother, I've heard that an extremely powerful expert appeared in the immortal realm. He's called something like Qin Yu. He actually managed to kill 26 immortal emperors in a single breath. Even the green blood sword immortal was killed. Even Emperor Yu had to flee in a sorry state." Not far from Qin Yu, a capable and experienced man from the demon realm said excitedly. Qin Yu held his wine cup and couldn't help but smile bitterly. On his way here, Qin Yu had already lost count of how many times he had heard this. Evidently, the impact of that battle back then was very big and had spread very widely. However, ordinary cultivators weren't clear about the process of the battle. Thus, they added their own imaginations and spread the news. 1 spread to 10, 10 spread to 100. Even the false news became true. "Your demon realm doesn't have such a powerful expert, right? Let me tell you, this senior Qin Yu from our immortal realm is very powerful. Currently, his cultivation has already reached level 9 immortal emperor. Only old man hidden emperor could compare with senior Qin Yu. This man was clearly someone from the immortal realm. Level 9 immortal emperor." Qin Yu smiled bitterly as he drank a cup of wine. Presumably, this was also something that some people had guessed. However, after a long time it had become true. Those cultivators' guesses were also based on something. To be able to make Emperor Yu, a level 8 immortal emperor, flee, and even kill so many immortal emperors, how could one not have the strength of a level 9 immortal emperor? What level 9 immortal emperor? This Qin Yu is our demon realm's level 8 demon emperor. His true form is also a super divine beast born from the heaven and earth. Fire Qilin. Suddenly, a large man from a nearby table stood up and said, "Fire Qilin." Qin Yu almost spat out the wine in his mouth. "That's right. I also heard that he's a level 8 demon emperor, Fire Qilin. Could it be that you all didn't know? That Emperor Yu used so many immortal emperors to set up the sealing element refining flames array. He even used the extremely silent heavenly flames to try and burn senior Qin Yu to death." Another person from the demon realm raised his head and said, "Extremely silent heavenly flames, ordinary immortal emperors would undoubtedly die. Emperor Yu never thought that senior Qin Yu's true form was a fire Qilin born from the heaven and earth. Using flames to burn a fire Qilin. The result is needless to say. In an instant, the restaurant was bustling with noise and excitement. The statement that Qin Yu was a level 8 demon emperor fire Qilin actually had a large amount of supporters. After all, the matter of the reef yellow star being burned down by the sealing element refining flames array was spread by many people from the reef yellow star using their transmission spiritual pearls. To not die from the extremely silent heavenly flames. Even a level 9 immortal emperor's body was not that strong. Only a fire Qilin or a phoenix could do that. However, there were still people who refuted that a level 9 immortal emperor had the strength to break through the sealing element refining flames array. However, there were also people who stood up and said that Qin Yu was a hidden expert from the devil realm. Hearing the heated discussion about himself, Qin Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he finished eating the banquet. Soon after, he left the restaurant. Those people who were excitedly discussing about him still didn't know that the person from earlier was Qin Yu. Immortal realm, devil realm, demon realm. To be honest, I don't even know which realm I'm from. Qin Yu arrived at the giant tree star's interstellar conveying array with a face filled with smiles. 10 high-grade elemental spirit stones. The man beside the interstellar conveying array said to Qin Yu with a smile. The price of the interstellar conveying array between the two realms was indeed excessively high. After handing over 10 high-grade elemental spirit stones, Qin Yu stepped into the interstellar conveying array. Following a flash of light, Qin Yu disappeared from the interstellar conveying array. Chapter 386. The Demon Realm, the largest power in the immortal devil and demon realm. Within it were the Beast Clan, the Scaled Clan and the Bird Clan. Any one of the three clans could be compared with the immortal realm and the devil realm. The true ruler of the Beast Clan was the Ox Demon Emperor. The ruler of the Dragon Clan was the Dragon Emperor. As for the Bird Clan, it was the Pang Demon Emperor. There was no need to mention how high the status of these three people were. On a planet at the border of the demon realm, the Yellow Mountain Star. Currently, Qin Yu was walking on the streets of the Yellow Mountain Star. He had just arrived here from the giant tree star in the far west of the immortal realm through the interstellar conveying array. Right after arriving at the demon realm, Qin Yu started to feel helpless. It would be troublesome for me to find Fei by myself. I can only go ask Meng Hong. Qin Yu was quietly walking on the streets. Meng Hong was one of the 36 heavenly stars under the Ox Demon Emperor. He also had a friendship with Qin Yu. Asking Meng Hong about Ho Fei was the simplest and most effective method. However, Meng Hong was far away in the hidden Emperor Star. If Qin Yu wanted to use the transmission spiritual pearl to communicate, he would have to rely on the transmission secret array to reach him. Qin Yu had already covered the entire Yellowstone Star with his immortal awareness. There were 5 places on the Yellowstone Star that possessed the transmission secret array. These 5 places all had a lot of experts. One of them even had a level 2 Demon Emperor. As for the other 4 places, they only had Demon King level experts. The Yellowstone Palace could be considered as a native power on the Yellowstone Star. Merely they didn't have a lot of experts. The strongest among them was only a level 9 Demon King. This Yellowstone Palace had been in operation for tens of thousands of years. Small palaces could be seen everywhere. Qin Yu's immortal awareness had already discovered that there was a transmission secret array hidden in the Yellowstone Palace. Qin Yu wanted to borrow it. He slowly walked to the entrance of the Yellowstone Palace. Qin Yu's immortal awareness directly locked onto the strongest robust man in the Yellowstone Palace. He said via voice transmission, "Friend from the Yellowstone Palace, I am Lu Xing. I wish to borrow your Yellowstone Palace's transmission secret array. Is that possible?" Currently, Qin Yu didn't dare to announce his name. Yu. This name had too great of an impact. "Hey, black-haired guy, this is the entrance of the Yellow Rock Palace. Go away, don't wander around here." A guard of the Yellow Rock Palace shouted at Qin Yu. Qin Yu turned to look at him. "Are you talking to me?" Qin Yu said with a smile. When that guard saw Qin Yu's gaze, he couldn't help but stare blankly and speechlessly. "Don't be rude to your seniors. Quickly leave." The explosive yellow-haired man walked out and reprimanded the guard. The guard immediately retreated respectfully to Qin Yu. "Senior Lu Xing, I am the Palace Lord of the Yellowstone Palace, Shifeng. For Senior to come to a small place like the Yellowstone Star, it is truly our Yellowstone Star's fortune. As the Palace Lord of the Yellowstone Palace, I will definitely serve Senior." Shifeng's face was full of smiles. The Yellowstone Star was a transportation hub. Countless people from the immortal realm and the demon realm passed through here every day. Such an important planet would often have Emperor-level experts. Shifeng, a level 9 Demon King, was able to maintain the Yellowstone Palace for so long. Naturally, he knew how to conduct himself. Qin Yu smiled and nodded. "Palace Lord Shifeng is too courteous. It's just that I have no way of contacting my good friends after arriving here. So, I wish to borrow your Yellowstone Palace's transmission secret array." The method of constructing a transmission secret array wasn't some incredible secret. It's just that to construct it required a lot of materials. It was also very complicated. Without a year or so, it would be impossible to construct it successfully. Transmission secret array. Shifeng's face was full of smiles. "No problem. Senior can use it whenever you want. Senior Lu Xing, please come to my Yellowstone Palace to rest. I have already ordered people to prepare a banquet. Shi Feng was incomparably cordial. An expert whose immortal sense could easily enter his mind without him noticing at all. Shi Feng naturally didn't dare to be disrespectful. Since his soul had reached the first level of the heavenly soul realm, Qin Yu's immortal sense was already at the emperor level. Qin Yu felt somewhat helpless. He immediately waved his hand and said, "No need, no need. Palace Lord Shi Feng, there's no need for a banquet. I'll have to trouble you to bring me to the location of the transmission secret array. Is that all right?" "That's fine too." Shi Feng was very straightforward. "Senior, please follow me." Shi Feng led the way in front. Qin Yu followed beside him as they hurried towards the location of the transmission secret array. Qin Yu's immortal sense had naturally already discovered the location of the transmission secret array. However, there were quite a few guards outside the transmission secret array. There were also some restrictions. Qin Yu didn't want to force his way in. When Shi Feng arrived, those guards were extremely respectful. The restrictions were also removed. The transmission secret array was located in the belly of the mountain. The passageway was set up behind a waterfall. Looking at the 100-meter-tall waterfall in front of him, the rumbling sound of the waterfall ringing in his ears, Qin Yu's mood improved. "Senior, the passageway has already been opened. Senior, you only need to follow the passageway behind the waterfall into the transmission secret array. Then you'll be able to see the transmission secret array," Shi Feng said respectfully. Qin Yu nodded. Then, his entire body suddenly moved. Instantly, the waterfall broke apart, revealing the passageway behind it. Qin Yu directly passed through the passageway. Then, the waterfall returned to normal. He caused the waterfall to stop flowing without even batting an eyelid. How powerful! Shi Feng couldn't help but sigh when he saw this. This was the use of an emperor-level expert's domain. Shi Feng couldn't sense the changes in the space around the waterfall at all. Times within the transmission secret array. The transmission secret array was in the shape of the 8 trigrams. Each edge was about 8 meters long. The 8 trigrams were made of a special material. It was completely black and flashed with a strange light. In addition, there were all sorts of talisman symbols carved on the edges. At each edge there were 3 black prisms. They formed a triangle with a piece of crystal sandwiched between them. Complicated. There were dozens of different types of crystal. Qin Yu could only understand a portion of those talisman symbols. He didn't understand the majority of them. There was nothing he could do. Qin Yu wasn't good at this to begin with. He stepped into the center of the transmission secret array. Qin Yu took out his transmission spiritual pearl. "Brother Meng Hong." Qin Yu's immortal sense very vaguely sensed that the transmission secret array had changed. According to his guess, it was this change that caused the transmission spiritual pearl's message to travel even further. A short while later, Meng Hong sent a message. "Brother Qin Yu, you actually sent me a message." Meng Hong was indeed very surprised. Before Qin Yu could send the message, Meng Hong's second message had already arrived. "Brother Qin Yu, these days, your great name has spread throughout the entire immortal, devil and demon realm. Even when I'm drinking in the restaurants of the hidden Emperor Star, I can hear groups and groups of people talking about you." Qin Yu lightly smiled. That kind of situation, he had already experienced it. To be honest, hearing others talk about him, that feeling was pretty good. "Brother Meng Hong, I've called you for a very important matter." Qin Yu didn't want to chat anymore. "Brother Qin Yu, speak. What can I help you with?" Meng Hong also didn't waste any more words. Qin Yu began to speak about his matter. "Brother Meng Hong, I've already arrived in the demon realm. I'm currently in the Beast Clan's territory. I know that Ho Fei is in the Beast Clan's territory. I want to see him. Do you know which planet Ho Fei is on?" From Qin Yu's point of view, this Meng Hong was one of the 36 heavenly stars under the Ox Demon Emperor. He should know a lot of things. After a short while, Meng Hong sent a message. Brother Qinyu, a while ago, I've heard that Ho Fei seemed to have arrived at some place. As for where, I'm not sure. Qinyu was slightly startled. Wasn't Meng Hong's words equivalent to nonsense? Meng Hong sent another message. However, Brother Qinyu, I suggest you go to a place. As long as you go there, you'll definitely know where Ho Fei is. Where? Qinyu immediately asked. Jade Cloud Star. The place where the successive Ox Demon Emperors are located. Meng Hong quickly replied. Ho Fei is under the care of the Great Ape Emperor. However, the Great Ape Emperor is extremely elusive. It's very difficult to find him. Therefore, asking His Majesty the Ox Demon Emperor is the simplest method. Qinyu nodded inwardly. He had also heard of the Beast Clan's two emperors, the Ox Demon Emperor and the Great Ape Emperor. Of the two, the Great Ape Emperor didn't care about anything. Finding the Great Ape Emperor was indeed troublesome. However, finding the Ox Demon Emperor was equivalent to finding the Great Ape Emperor. After all, the Ox Demon Emperor could use his transmission spiritual pearl to ask the Great Ape Emperor about Ho Fei's whereabouts. Alright, I got it. Qinyu decided to set off in a while. Jade Cloud Star. Once he reached the Jade Cloud Star, finding Ho Fei would be a simple matter. Brother Qinyu, with your reputation, asking the Ox Demon Emperor for help shouldn't be a difficult matter. Meng Hong sent another transmission. Hearing that, Qinyu couldn't help but smile. It seemed that Qinyu's reputation was indeed valuable now. Oh, that's right. Brother Wuming had just set off for the Dragon Clan a few days ago. Seeing this message, Qinyu was slightly startled. Big Brother Wuming. Qinyu remembered Ao Wushu, who was currently training in the Zhonglan's realm. Got it. If I have the chance, I will definitely go to the Dragon Clan to see Big Brother Wuming. Brother Meng Hong, thank you very much this time. I still have to go find Ho Fei. Thus I won't say much. If there's anything in the future, I'll contact you again. After he finished talking with Meng Hong, Qinyu put away his transmission spiritual pearl. The transmission secret array is still very useful. Qinyu looked at this complicated transmission secret array. Suddenly, a thought emerged in his mind. Soon after, Qinyu turned into a ray of light and left the private room. Beside the waterfall, the Yellow Rock Palace's Palace Master Shifeng was still quietly waiting. Senior Lu Xing, you've already used it. Shifeng had a face full of smiles. Qinyu nodded. He smiled and said, Thank you, Palace Master Shifeng. However, I still have a matter that I wish to ask Palace Master Shifeng about. Senior Lu Xing, please speak. Shifeng's heart trembled. When ordinary Emperor-level experts came, his Yellow Rock Palace would not dare to offend them and could only endure. Right now, he was most worried that this Senior Lu Xing in front of him would have some excessive request. Qinyu smiled indifferently and said, Palace Master Shifeng, may I know how much money your Yellow Rock Palace spent to build this transmission secret array? Palace Master Shifeng's heart trembled. No. He took a fancy to my Yellow Rock Palace's transmission secret array. Palace Master Shifeng. Qinyu shouted again. Shifeng woke up. With a slightly bitter voice he replied. Senior Lu Xing, this transmission secret array was built by myself and several of my subordinates in the Yellow Rock Palace after spending a year's worth of time. We had also spent a lot of precious materials. How much did you spend? Qinyu frowned slightly. He had only asked how much it cost to build the transmission secret array. However, Shifeng had said so much. 20 million. Shifeng reported a number. In reality, although building a transmission secret array was troublesome and complicated, all the materials added up to 10 million was enough. As for spending a year, to a cultivator a year was nothing. 20 million. How about this? I'll use a top-grade immortal artifact to exchange for your transmission secret array. How about it? Qinyu said directly. Top-grade immortal artifact. Even the most inferior top-grade immortal artifact had a base price of 10 million low-grade elemental spirit stones. Those that were slightly more special were in the tens of millions. The good ones were even in the hundreds of millions. After all, to experts, a good top-grade immortal artifact was really hard to find. Top-grade immortal artifact. Shi Feng's eyes lit up. Profit, a profit. A top-grade immortal artifact was a top-grade demon artifact. The people of the demon realm were inferior to the people of the immortal realm in terms of refining. Moreover, to refine a top-grade immortal artifact, one had to be an emperor-level expert. Shi Feng had a top-grade demon artifact. However, he had also bought it from a weapon store. Generally, weapon stores would not have a lot of top-grade demon artifacts in stock. Of course, Shi Feng did not have much choice. He could only choose a passable saber. He spent a total of 50 million. Don't be in a daze. Tell me, what kind of top-grade immortal artifact do you want? I'll see if I have it here. Qin Yu said indifferently. Shi Feng licked his lips. His eyes lit up. He said excitedly, something like a battle axe. It's best if it's heavy and has strong attack power. Battle axes were top-grade immortal artifacts. They were large in size and required a lot of materials to refine. Generally, the price in weapon stores was extremely high. Moreover, it was very difficult to sell. Battle axe. Me see. Qin Yu pretended to check with his immortal sense. Shi Feng looked at Qin Yu with longing. I have one. Alright, I'll give it to you. With a flip of his hand, Qin Yu took out a top-grade immortal battle axe. Qin Yu had no less than 100 top-grade immortal artifacts in Ni Yang's realm. However, Qin Yu had practically never used these top-grade immortal artifacts. Moreover, he had enough money right now. Using a top-grade immortal artifact that he had no use for, Qin Yu naturally did not mind exchanging a useful secret messaging array. Then, the secret messaging array belongs to me. Qin Yu said indifferently. Good, good. Shi Feng looked at the top-grade immortal battle axe, his eyes shining. Qin Yu's domain spread out, covering the mountaintop with a waterfall in front of him. A fierce black hole energy was contained within it. With a thought, the black hole energy directly enveloped the secret room within the mountaintop. Rumble. The secret room within the mountaintop that was enveloped by the black hole energy directly rushed out of the mountaintop and forcibly created an extremely vast tunnel. Qin Yu then took the secret room within the mountaintop into the Jianglan's realm. Naturally, he also obtained the secret messaging array hidden within it. After Qin Yu finished this matter, he displayed a satisfied smile on his face. Senior Lu Xing, do you still need another secret messaging array? I can build another. No need. Qin Yu interrupted Shi Feng's words. It would appear that Shi Feng was addicted to taking advantage of others. A battle axe type top-grade immortal artifact with fierce attacks was worth about 10 times more than a secret messaging array. Shi Feng was naturally willing to use the secret messaging array to exchange for another top-grade immortal artifact. Palace Master Shi Feng, I still have important matters to attend to. I shall take my leave now. Qin Yu slightly clasped his hands. Then, he turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the horizon. Palace Master Shi Feng looked at the tunnel created by the secret room within the mountaintop, and then looked at the fierce top-grade immortal artifact in his hand. He displayed an excited, foolish smile. Chapter 387. Qin Yu hurried on his journey without stopping. He was not stingy with his travel expenses. In merely 3 days, Qin Yu arrived at the core planet of the beast clan of the demon realm, Jade Cloud Star. Jade Cloud Star, as the planet where the successive Ox demon emperors lived, had a very high status in the hearts of the people of the demon realm. At the same time, there were many emperor-level experts here. Of the 36 heavenly spirits and 72 earthly fiends under the Ox Demon Emperor, many of them lived on Jade Cloud Star. There were 5 great cities on Jade Cloud Star. 4 of them were located in 4 different directions. There was also a city located in the center of the 4 great cities. It was called the Imperial City. Ordinary people were not allowed to enter it. The Imperial City was filled with experts. The majority of the people who lived there were of extremely high status. Even among the guards, the weakest was a level 6 demon king. Level 9 demon kings could be seen at a glance. Although outsiders were not allowed to enter, Qin Yu had already arrived at the eastern gate of the Imperial City. Seeing Qin Yu's arrival, one of the 2 guards shouted, "This is the Imperial City. Without the Imperial City's identity medallion, you are not allowed to enter." Imperial City's identity medallion. Qin Yu was slightly astonished. He did not know about this at all. Qin Yu did not feel like going through so much trouble. He immediately spread out his immortal awareness. However, just as his immortal awareness entered the Imperial City, there were immediately no less than 10 fierce demon awareness that counterattacked. So many demon emperors. Qin Yu was startled. "Are you Qin Yu?" A sound transmission sounded in Qin Yu's mind. Qin Yu's heart jumped. How did they know his name? However, after a short while, Qin Yu understood. It was likely that Meng Hong had already told this matter to the experts of the Jade Cloud Star. Qin Yu immediately said via voice transmission, "That's right. Did you manage to find out my name from Brother Meng Hong?" "Haha, it really is Brother Qin Yu. Wait a moment. That voice was somewhat excited. The 2 guards seemed to have been ordered not to chase Qin Yu away for the time being. In just a short while, 3 figures rushed out of the Imperial City. All 3 of them were extremely sturdy men. Man gone. Qin Yu looked at the leader in surprise. The leader of the group was Man Qian, who had descended to the mortal realm. Man Qian's current strength was far lower than Qin Yu's. He was only a 6th grade demon king. However, reaching 6th grade demon king in such a short period of time was already considered extremely fast. "Haha, it is indeed Brother Qin Yu." Man Gone laughed loudly as he walked over, and gave Qin Yu a bear hug. "Young Master Man Qian, I have already said it earlier." An emperor-level expert who did not even know the identity medallion of the Imperial City and ran over to the Imperial City. How many people were there? Other than the Qin Yu that Meng Hong mentioned, I really can't think of anyone else. The red-haired man beside Man Gone said. The 2 men behind Man Gone were both demon emperor-level experts. Moreover, they were experts from the Ox clan. "Brother Qin Yu, I really did not expect that the legendary Qin Yu who made Emperor Yu suffer a huge loss was actually Brother Qin Yu back then. I really did not dare to recognize you, Brother Qin Yu. However, when I saw you in person, I knew it was you." Man Gone laughed happily. Qin Yu's face was also full of smiles. Meeting Man Qian was indeed a joyous matter. As for Man Gone, his heart was indeed shocked. When he first met Qin Yu in the mortal realm, Qin Yu was preparing to go through the 9 from 9 heavenly tribulations. At that time, Man Gone was already a 1st grade demon king. However, Qin Yu was actually an emperor-level expert now. He even dared to fight with someone like Emperor Yu. How could Man Gone not be shocked? Let's go to my place to rest first. If there's anything we can talk about it at my place." Man Gone was very happy. He pulled Qin Yu and walked into the Imperial City. At that time, the guards naturally did not dare to stop them. When Man Gone brought someone in, that person was qualified to enter the Imperial City. The Imperial City was still very big. In the east of the Imperial City, there was an extremely luxurious palace. It occupied a very large area. There were also many servants and guards. That was Man Gone's residence. Currently, in the Beast clan, there were only 3 super divine beast purple-eyed ox demon kings. Every super divine beast had a very respected position. That was also the reason why Man Gone had 2 demon emperors by his side, although he was only a 6th grade demon king. Times in an elegant living room, Qin Yu and Man Gone sat opposite each other. There were some exquisite dishes on the table between the 2 of them. The two of them drank and ate while chatting enthusiastically. Qin, you and that brother of yours are all freaks. That brother of yours, Ho Fei, should have cultivated to the realm of Demon King in 100 years. In short, he should have cultivated to the realm of Demon King around that time. Man Gon scolded loudly while drinking. A few decades ago when I went to see Ho Fei, that Ho Fei had actually cultivated to the realm of 5th grade Demon King. When Qin heard the news about Ho Fei, he was also very happy in his heart. What a freak. His cultivation speed is simply terrifying. I had thought that after reaching the 6th grade Demon King in these 300 years, his cultivation speed would be very fast. However, compared to you guys, sigh. Man Gon's face was sullen. The most terrifying one is you, little brat. Man Gon pointed at Qin. When we were in Ni Yang's realm, Ho Fei and that Kuro were the first to ascend. At that time you had yet to ascend. However, in such a short time you are actually a freaking Emperor-level expert. Man Gon tilted his head and looked at Qin. Emperor-level expert. Qin, how did you cultivate? Qin had an innocent face. Just like that. Man Gon was speechless. Qin, do you know in the entire mortal, devil and demon realm, how many experts are stuck at the realm of 9th grade Demon King, unable to reach the Emperor level? Do you know how difficult it is to reach the Emperor level? Look at the guards of the Imperial City. There are a lot of 9th grade Demon Kings. However, as for Demon Emperors, how many guards are there? Man Gon had a stomach full of resentment. Qin knew that Man Gon was jealous and sullen. Therefore, Qin could only stand at the side and let Man Gon vent. However, there were indeed many 9th grade Demon Kings guarding the Imperial City. As for Demon Emperors, who would go stand on the city tower? Most of the Demon Emperors were probably enjoying themselves in their own places. You are currently not an ordinary Emperor-level expert. According to the information, that 1st grade Immortal Emperor Sword Immortal under Emperor Yu, called Yu Qingzi, died at your hands, right? Man Gon indeed knew quite a lot. Qin nodded. 1st grade Immortal Emperor Sword Immortal. I don't know when I will be able to defeat him. Man Gon was full of helplessness. Forget about that. You brat, you won't stop until you scare people to death. In one breath, you killed 26 Immortal Emperors under Emperor Yu. And that green-blooded Sword Immortal. Man Gon stared at Qin with wide eyes. Qin could only smile apologetically. You can, killing 26 by yourself. Man Gon looked like he wanted to eat someone. Qin once again laughed dryly. Green-blooded Sword Immortal. A 7th grade Immortal Emperor Sword Immortal. Ever since Immortal Emperor Ni Yang died, he was the strongest Sword Immortal. He also fell at your hands. Man Gon was full of emotion. I have always been suspicious that Qin in the mortal realm and this Qin now, are they the same person? Qin finally spoke. They are the same person, definitely the same person. Qin, tell me, I remember that it was Lan Feng who took the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. How did it end up in your hands? Don't say that you don't have the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. I don't believe that you didn't rely on the 10,000 Beasts Atlas to kill 26 Immortal Emperors, and even scared Emperor Yu away. Man Gon said with certainty. Indeed, Qin did have the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. As for Lan Feng. You mean Martial Uncle Lan Feng? He gave me the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Qin could only say so. The existence of the Sword Immortal puppet, even he himself found it difficult to explain clearly. He reckoned that the immortal, devil and demon realms had never seen such a thing as a Sword Immortal puppet. Man Gon sighed. 10,000 Beasts Atlas, your martial uncle is really willing to part with it. As a super divine beast, Man Gon's position was extremely noble. Of course he knew of the powerful people in the 10,000 Beasts Atlas. Big brother Man Gon, let Shurexen and the others in. They should be anxious from waiting. Qin suddenly said. Man Gon was stunned for a moment. Qin smiled. Shurexen's soul was controlled by Qin. When Qin stepped into the Imperial City, He knew Shurexion's exact location. Until now, Shurexion and his brothers had been waiting outside. "Ah, I was too excited, I forgot." Mangon chuckled and loudly said, "Shurexion, you three brothers come in." Shurexion, Shurbing and Shurjan walked in. "Master," Shurexion respectfully said. "Master Qin Yu." Shurbing and Shurjan also respectfully said. But Shurbing and Shurjan were Fei and Xiao Hei's spiritual beasts, so they did not need to call Qin Yu master. Qin Yu smiled and looked at Mangon. "Brother Mangon, why did Shurexion and his brothers come here?" At that time, Shurbing and Shurjan flew to the territory of our beast clan. They followed Ho Fei at first. Then Ho Fei threw the two of them to me to take care of. When Shurexion ascended to the demon realm, Shurbing and Shurjan were indeed brothers. They actually sensed Shurexion's location and brought Shurexion over. Mangon explained in detail. Qin Yu nodded. Shurexion and the other two extreme ice lions didn't have much trouble. However, now that they have not even reached the Demon King level, Qin Yu has no use for them. Mangon smiled and said, "Qin Yu, Ho Fei actually removed the soul binding, and Shurbing has already regained his freedom." Qin Yu looked at Shurexion and the other two. He could feel Shurexion's intentions. Those divine beasts naturally longed for freedom. Even the blood dragon Qin Yu had also made an agreement with Qin Yu to return his freedom when they reached the god realm. "Alright Shurexion, from today onwards you are also free." Qin Yu's thoughts moved, and removed the spiritual beast collars binding on Shurexion. Shurexion was overjoyed. "Brother Mangon, I have come this time to find Fei. Do you know where Fei is now?" Qin Yu directly asked Mangon. Qin Yu could see that Mangon knew quite a lot about Ho Fei. Mangon frowned slightly, and muttered for a long time. "What is it?" Qin Yu felt that something was wrong. Mangon looked at Qin Yu, and was full of apology. "Qin Yu, you are looking for Ho Fei. According to what I know, Ho Fei has now reached a secret place, and even I do not know about that place." "Secret place?" Qin Yu frowned. "That's right, His Majesty definitely knows," Mangon said with certainty. "His Majesty has gone out to handle some matters, but it is fine. I will use the communication spiritual pearl to ask him. You wait for a while." Qin Yu nodded. Mangon stood up and walked outside. He turned back and said to Qin Yu, "I also do not know where His Majesty is outside. It is hard to say whether this place is far or near. I will go to the communication secret array to send a message. Brother Mangon, just ask clearly where Fei is." Qin Yu watched Mangon leave the hall. Times in the immortal devil and demon realm, the universe contained endless dangers. A few hundred miles wide and over 10,000 miles long purple-colored quicksand was floating in a certain part of the universe. This purple-colored quicksand had electric snakes flashing on it. At this time, a huge meteorite flew over from afar. Just as the meteorite approached the purple-colored quicksand, suddenly tens of huge lightning bolts escaped from the purple-colored quicksand and fiercely struck the meteorite. That meteorite immediately turned into fine powder. This purple-colored quicksand was a terrifying type of energy in the universe. However, this purple-colored quicksand was slightly inferior to the cosmic fragmentary golden stream and the extremely silent heavenly flame stream. In the depths of the 10,000 miles of floating quicksand in the universe, a figure was sitting cross-legged on it. There were not many people in the immortal devil and demon realm who could sit cross-legged on the purple-colored quicksand. When the quicksand floated up, this figure also floated up. When the quicksand sank, this figure also sank. This person's entire body was filled with purple light, and it was difficult to see this person's true appearance. Ha! Ha 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 ha! A burst of loud laughter suddenly came from this figure. Immediately, the endless purple-colored quicksand started to vibrate. After that, with this figure as the center, a whirlpool started to spin. This figure sat at the very top of the purple-colored quicksand. The purple light suddenly dissipated and turned into a set of clothes that wrapped around this person's body. When this person opened and closed his eyes, It was like a sharp knife shooting out. His aura was swift and fierce. Seeing this person's appearance clearly, it was Emperor Yu who had disappeared without a trace. Compared to the steady Emperor Yu of the past, the current Emperor Yu's aura was swift and fierce to the extreme. His entire person was like a battle blade. Qinyu, I've been stuck at level 8 Immortal Emperor for so many years and was unable to break through. This time, thanks to you, I've finally had some comprehension and broke through that layer. Level 9 Immortal Emperor, I've finally reached. Emperor Yu's entire appearance seemed to have undergone a slight change. There was a trace of scholarly elegance between his brows, and a trace of ruthlessness. From the Emperor Yu who could still smile when Mount Tai collapsed, to the death god who could kill with a single word of disagreement. Tactics. Techniques of an emperor. In front of absolute strength, all of them are jokes. Emperor Yu sneered. Absolute strength is the most fundamental. Those who obey me are right, and those who go against me are wrong. What I yearn for is to pass the divine tribulation and ascend to the divine realm. However, before I pass the divine tribulation and ascend to the divine realm, I'll have to settle the devil in my heart. Otherwise, I'm afraid that I won't be able to pass the divine tribulation. Emperor Yu's body moved, turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the cosmic space. You're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.